Hello and welcome to the final table of the World Championship of Online Poker main event. It's James Hartigan alongside Joe Stapleton.
Hello, my babies. It is the crack of the morning.
Indeed. Wherever you are in the world, we'd love to hear from you. You can get in touch with the show by tweeting using the hashtag Wcoop. For us, it is 0530, and we are already seven-handed at this final table. They actually hit the final table a little bit earlier than we predicted. Victor Blom is Ildur 1. Made the final, but went out in ninth. We are currently down to 7 players, and we're going to follow this thing through to its conclusion when we crown the champion of this year's Wcoop main event.
$10 million in the prize pool for this main event, well over the guarantee, $10.71 million to be exact. I'm actually kind of nervous right now, not for broadcasting, but just for these people. There's some major money about to be given away here. $1.8 million up top, $1.2 for second, huge.
I mean, I think it's fair to say that we spend most of our time focused on the live events that PokerStars runs rather than the regular online tournaments that are the bread and butter, which are what the PokerStars business is all about. And obviously the Wcoop is a huge festival. This is a huge tournament. As you say, a massive prize pool exceeding the guarantee with 2,142 runners. Nearly a third of that number, by the way, making their way into this tournament via satellites. And $1.8 million up top for the winner. Everyone is now locked up $214,000. Exciting stuff.
James, I have a quick trivia question for you to kick things off today. Which two of these guys satellited in to the World Championship of Online Poker main event here? Which two of these guys?
Is it Crown Up Guy and the Nerd Guy?
Correct.
The clue was in the question. Thank you for the emphasis, Joe. Just want to give you guys an overview, by the way, of what you're going to be listening to as you watch this table play out. Obviously, you're probably watching the live stream that we're providing, or you're watching the action on the PokerStars client. You don't need us to call every action. You can see the hands for yourself. A bit later on, we are going to be joined by Ike Haxton and Mickey Peterson, both members of Team PokerStars Online. Do bear in mind that as this tournament is playing out in real time, and there is no delay on the stream, we're not going to get into any heavy analysis. We can't give out any information on the stream which could potentially influence the outcome of this tournament. You understand that we do put integrity first. So I guess what we want to provide, Joe, is just some entertainment, something for you to listen to as we celebrate the conclusion of yet another fantastic series.
I actually just got the integrity first memo when I walked in here today, so I might be a little behind on that one. I'm just going to follow your lead.
Key thing being that we are going to see a winner crowned, however long this final table takes to play out. And in the meantime, we're going to have some fun. We've got some competitions lined up for you. We've got various guests. I mentioned Ike and Mickey. We're going to be catching up with members of Team PokerStars Pro, hopefully along the way as well. Find out how the World Championship of Online Poker has gone for them. And crucially, kind of recap some of the key things that have happened over the last few weeks. Because, Joe, you've been more recently involved in this than I have. The last time I did something related to the Wcoop was back in 2008, whereas I know that
Did they have internet back then? Was it a thing?
It was dial-up, but they did have it. But in recent years, you provided a great deal of coverage, so I think it's fair to say you're more familiar with the festival in its current incarnation because it has grown and it is now huge.
Yeah, there's over 50 events, I believe. Tons of, let's see, we had 136,548 total entries this year in the Wcoop. Nearly $62 million given away over 66 events. So when I said over 50, that was way over 50. 66 events this year. 49 countries represented in the World Championship of Online Poker.
Yeah, and 66 total events, including this, the main event. Let's just quickly run through who is remaining at the final table. I think there was a lot of excitement out on the internet to see Victor Blom, Isildur 1, make the final, but he was the first out. He did come into that final 9 with the short stack. So let's talk about the players in seat order. Let's start with Crown Up Guy, who is the current chip leader at this final table with 12.8 million in chips. Joe, you mentioned this guy satellited in to the Wcoop main event, but he is no novice. He is a accomplished pro.
I think it was a $700 last-minute satellite, I believe, is what one of our crack research team, and that, of course, is a research team on crack, who stayed up all night getting this information for us. Yeah, $700 last-minute satellite for Crown Up Guy.
Fedor Holtz. Crazy Elior is the next player, 3.1 million. 19Dan86, who's just folded on the river there to the toilet, and we'll come to him in a moment. Probably the best-known player at this final table. The Nerd Guy currently playing just shy of 4.4 million. Neckbreak with 5.3 million. The Toilet, second in chips with close to 9.2 million. Faraz Jaka.
That's a name. We know him. We know that guy. That's great. That's like when you're watching wrestling on Sunday morning and they're like, at least Hulk Hogan is there. You're like, I know him.
And another familiar name, Poker Devil. That's Dylan Horton.
Yeah, it is. Dylan Horton, amazing story. This kid has made the final table 2 years running in the Wcoop main event. Pretty amazing to steal the hashtag from Shane Schlager. Hashtag Wcoop Newhouse.
Of course, a reference to Mark Newhouse making back-to-back November 9s. Reminder that you can tweet along with the show, hashtag Wcoop. Many of you getting in touch, including one of our regular EPT live viewers. That'll be Pingu saying, Wcoop, it's good to hear you guys. Pingachu, I'm sorry. Kyle says the broadcast is starting. Looking forward to hearing from Ike Poker. Dominic says, great to hear you guys. It's almost as good as an EPT. Oh, and there I thought that was a compliment. And then he comes with the backhanded slap at the end of it. Chris McFadden points out this is a pretty stacked Wcoop final table. Should be a good one. Just hope I can stay awake. Been playing PLO since 11 p.m.
You know, I just got done learning who all the players are in the European Poker Tour 3 years later. Now I have to figure out who all these guys are online.
We've got Cody. Sorry, guys, late to the party. Any big names at the final table? Cody, we just covered it off. The three biggest names in, I guess, live poker would be Faraz Jaka, the Toilet, Dylan Horton, Poker Devil, and Crown-Up guy, Fedor Holtz. Frumpleton says, hi, James and Joe. Morning to you. Frumpleton, obviously, on this side of the Atlantic. Great Wcoop series. And that's really what we want to talk about mostly today, is how good this series has been. And very shortly, we're going to be joined by the man who puts it together. Brian Slick is the senior manager for tournament schedule and online championships at PokerStars. And really, the Wcoop is his baby. This is his thing. And I remember back in 2008 when this festival was a lot smaller, Brian was around, and obviously he's seen it grow over the last few years. So it'll be interesting to catch up with Brian and get his thoughts on it.
It's no baby anymore. It's over 10 years old at this point. Almost a teenager.
So we have various contests running over the course of this show, and we can tell you there is a caption competition that we are running right now. We are going to tweet a photograph that was taken yesterday. We decided that we needed to prepare for this show. We knew that it was a big one. We appreciated the fact that we had to get up in an ungodly hour to bring this audio entertainment to your ears. So we had to go through a Rocky-style montage training process.
It's not only our minds that we needed to keep sharp for today's broadcast. It's all one, you know what I mean, James? Because the mind is housed by the body. So the mind can only be as strong as the body that contains it, Stephen Hawking notwithstanding. So we had to get physical. We had to get real and get physical yesterday, and we had an intense, upwards of 90-second workout that took place yesterday.
To be fair, it was close to 80, but
it was over 60 seconds. We can agree on that.
It was definitely more than a minute. Point being that there was a photographer present. A photograph has been taken and is now being tweeted from the @EPT Live Twitter account. And you'll be able to see that right now. And it will be tagged Wcoop as well. So if you search for the hashtag Wcoop on Twitter, you'll be able to see that photograph. And we want your caption suggestions. Now, how we're going to work this competition is slightly different to how we run most of our caption contests on our live stream. No, this is a good change.
Okay.
We're actually going to give you the opportunity to come on this show. We have two guest judges in Ike Haxton and Mickey Peterson. So they're going to go through some of the caption suggestions that are sent in by the audience. Mickey's going to pick a winner.
Okay.
Ike's going to pick a winner. And those winners are going to compete heads up on air to win a prize.
Awesome. I can't wait. I haven't seen the photo yet, though. Where is it, guys? Is it out there?
The photo is coming.
Well, what we should do is maybe we should just do a contest for whoever can just, describe the photo.
Use your imagination. When you finally do see the photo and you have your captions, just use the hashtag Wcoop, and that's how we can get in touch with you. Uncle Daddy Stapes, who I'm assuming is no relation, says Crazy Elior is playing on a mobile device for $1.8 million.
That's awesome. Like to see you do that with Candy Crush.
Look, the mobile app is solid. Why would you not kick back on the sofa? If you're playing for $1.8 million, let's be honest, you're probably going to be focusing on this one table, right? And the only thing that you don't really want to be doing on the mobile device is playing loads of tables at once. If you're focusing on one tournament, it's ideal.
I think I completely agree that it is ideal playing one table on the mobile device, aka iPad, but I wouldn't put it past any of these guys to be playing more than one table still. Like I don't know that they're even capable of playing one table at a time, most of these guys.
Yes. Are you implying that some of them may be sickos?
Yeah, I mean, but also a lot of people say that it helps sort of for some of them, it keeps them focused to play more than one table. It gets a little boring. It's boring playing for $1.8 million only, James. Come on.
Let's get an overview of the World Championship of Online Poker and introduce our first guest of the day, Senior Manager for Tournament Schedule and Online Championships at PokerStars. We're joined from the Isle of Man by Mr. Brian Slick. Good morning to you, Brian.
Good morning. How's it going?
Good, thanks. And many months, years, weeks of hard work coming to a conclusion in the early hours of a Tuesday morning as this main event plays out, Brian.
Yeah, absolutely. It's almost time to get some sleep.
For you, has this been a successful series? Are you happy with how it's gone?
Overall, yeah. We made all 66 guarantees, as per usual. Obviously, I would have preferred the main event to be a bit bigger, but just something to build on for next year.
Well, let's talk about the planning.
Bigger than last year.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about the planning that goes into it, because I'm assuming, as everyone always says when they work on something like this, that as soon as, like, the 2013 World Championship of Online Poker concluded, you probably started planning 2014. How much work goes into it, and how do you, in fact, put together a tournament schedule? I mean, where do you start working out which events to run and what goes where?
Well, we start with a baseline of what ran last year. And we take a look at the participation last year, what we expected in the tournaments, what we got, and we see if anything really needs to be cut, because it just didn't meet our expectations or it wasn't really worthy of Wcoop. Triple stud was something that was cut in that fashion not too long ago. I believe 2 years ago we got rid of triple stud. It was a fun game, we had it in there for a while, but it wasn't necessary, and we had other variants that needed to make their way into the World Championship. And then, of course, if we have things that are new, that are particularly exciting, that have really taken hold of the players' time and imaginations and whatnot on the site, then they make their way into Wcoop. A really good example of that is the Progressive Super Knockout. We've been running knockouts on the site for years, but we only recently, in the last couple of years, started running Progressive Super Knockouts in a big way, and they're enormously popular. So we decided that they had to become part of Wcoop. And they've been, really huge for the series. There's some of the most heavily participated in events with the biggest prize pools, and just really a lot of excitement throughout the event.
Brian, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I'm actually kind of interested in this Super Knockout format. Do you have anything in front of you, like what were some of the biggest head prizes that were collected this year in the Super Knockout?
I don't have that ready to hand, but I have the client open, and
how does it work?
Still available. Well, how it works for a Super Knockout is, you have your normal knockout, whatever price is on your head. Okay, so let's say I eliminate you in a tournament, and your bounty was $10,000.
Brian, I'm going to put you on pause for 1 second because we have major action at the table. We just want to focus on this.
Yeah, Poker Devil, Dylan Horton,
and
out flopped by Crazy Elior.
Ooh.
And Dylan Horton may make back-to-back final tables, but will exit 7th in this year's Wcoop main event.
Back-to-back sevenths.
Yeah, 7th last year as well, yes.
Congratulations, Dylan Horton.
I'd tell you that is an impressive run to make 2 final tables in this event back-to-back. That's oh gosh, I can't remember the guy's name who had the green Boston Red Sox hat, made the final table of the World Series 3 years in a row.
Oh, Dan Harrington.
Yeah, that's like him doing that. That's just really impressive, and a fair chunk of change to go along with it.
We got Jake Cody from Team Pro in the chat box saying, unlucky Poker Devil, but 7th place does get you $214,200, and everyone else ladders up because sixth place pays $281,673.
Yeah, Jake Cody doing his best to congratulations. You can use my word, Jake. It's fine. Congratulations. You don't have to write that congrats/commiserations routine. Anyway, Brian, so you were about to tell me how a super knockout works because I'm pretty curious. I like bounty tournaments because I'm going to be honest. There's no chance I'll ever win a tournament. I need to score some cash middle of the tournament.
Right. So, again, like I say, you and I are heads up. I eliminate you. Your bounty on your head was $10,000.
Oh.
In a progressive super knockout, I would get $5,000, and then my bounty increases by $5,000. So that if mine was 10 and yours was 10, I bust you out. I get $5,000 to my account, and mine becomes 15. So then if somebody was to knock me out immediately thereafter, they'd get $7,500, and $7,500 would be added to theirs.
So if you have a massive field tournament, which most of the Wcoops are, you could have some serious head prizes.
Yeah, I'm looking at, for example, I'm looking at Event 13, which was a $215 progressive. The bounty on the person who won it by the end of the tournament was $14,000.
Wow!
So he knocked out a fair few amount of people. I mean, it's really rare. You look through the top of these to see somebody with a low one. Like I'm looking, the player who finished in 26, their bounty was only $950. So they didn't eliminate very many people.
Now, we can all see here, Brian, that the tournament has been paused. I think it was the nerd guy who actually said in the chat box, can we see the numbers? And obviously, the administrator informing everyone that they need to click that option in the info section to say, discuss a deal. Obviously, everyone has ticked that option because the tournament has now been paused. So what's the process now?
Well, now the players will discuss, first of all, they'll decide what kind of numbers they want to see, chip, chop, or ICM. I would imagine it'd be ICM. For this table, we have two of our most senior support staff monitoring the table at all times. And, we have my boss, the director of Poker Room Operations, is in the chat with them. I'm in the chat with them. And, of course, Jake. And in this background chat, two senior CSRs will independently get numbers from the tool, based on ICM. Once they verify that their numbers match, they'll put them on the table, and the players will discuss them. And, then the players will bargain with each other, I want million, or I want this, or whatever it is that they want to say. And if they all come to an agreement, we load it into the tool, and off they go.
It really is that simple. Oh, it sounds simple, but we all know that those negotiations can get quite fraught. It'll be interesting to see what we get at this table once the numbers have been announced to the players. And I take it this is a point where it's quite common when we get like 5 or 6 handed at the final table of a tournament of this scale to see the players discuss a deal, because obviously on the live circuit, Brian, it tends to be more 3-handed and heads up that we see chops discussed.
Well, it really depends on the tournament, and a lot of it depends on who's in the tournament. Sometimes you'll get a player at the final table who just is absolutely convinced that he has an extreme edge over everybody in the tournament, or everybody that's left, and just says flat out, listen, you either give me first place or I'm not dealing. And, and that just pretty much short-circuits any possibility of a deal. A lot of times, if the stacks are pretty even and there have been a lot of chip movement, in the last few hands, the players are getting an idea that their position is very volatile, then I think it's more likely that you see a deal in that circumstance. Or and another time, when you see somebody with a really big lead, sometimes they're actually more willing to deal than you might expect because they're in a really good position to get the most out of a deal.
You mentioned the fact that obviously you've got guys working, the support team overseeing this, running the numbers, etc. How demanding is something like the World Championship of Online Poker on your time and on other people in your teams, Brian?
Well, for me personally, I'm not exaggerating when I say that for the 22 days of Wcoop, I'm doing one of the following things: eating, working, or sleeping. There really isn't anything else. Although
you get to eat?
I've gotten, well, yeah, occasionally. I've actually gotten kind of better at it this year in balancing the whole work-life business. I've got 3 kids in a marching band, and I've actually been able to go to 2 of their competitions during Wcoop. But in order to enable that sort of thing, instead of a 12-hour day the day before, it was an 18-hour day. the day before. But it's fine. It's a labor of love. This series is my favorite thing going.
Can you imagine if
I've been
Brian
running
didn't have kids? There would probably be 140 events in the Wcoop instead of 66.
It actually, it's grown quite a bit since I started taking care of it. 2006 Wcoop was my first one. I'd been with the company for about a month and a half at that time, and the owner said, by the way, you're going to be responsible for Wcoop. I said, what's Wcoop? That was 2006. So yeah, this is my 9th one. Next year will be my 10th.
It's taken over your life.
And then of course say again.
It's taken over your life. It rules you. It owns you. Just out of interest,
but there are dozens. One thing I want to stress real quick. You'd asked about what goes on behind it. There are dozens and dozens of people behind the scenes all throughout PokerStars who make Wcoop happen. I mean, I put together the tournaments and the schedule and the satellites, and that's obviously an important part of it. But, there are at least 10 people on our web team who work on Wcoop. There are people who put this show together. There are people who arrange things for support, for all the support hosts to be where they need to be, when they need to be, who wrangle the professional players, who comment on the tables, who run all the deals, the security staff, who make sure that nobody's cheating, and nobody's on the site who doesn't belong, the people who do transfers, who handle... There's probably 200 or 300 people involved in making Wcoop go, and we couldn't do it without any one of them. So I get to be the one sometimes, that a spotlight is shined upon, but that's only because, like I said, I put the schedule together. There are many, many other people who make this thing go.
Well, Brian, I actually have a question about that. I'm sorry to shine the spotlight on you any further, but and this may be a controversial question, but how do you respond to allegations that dealers have been overworked during this year's World Championship of Online Poker?
We've been charging them every night, plugging them in, making sure that they get the electrons they need. I really don't want to hear it. I met with the union earlier today and told them we're not negotiating.
One quick final question, Brian, before we let you go.
Good answer, by the way.
There has to be, I guess, a balance. Every year you want to make this bigger, but there comes a point where it's like, hold on a second, we can't actually have a 5-week Wcoop with 138 events. What do you think is the limit? How big can this get before it becomes unwieldy?
I have previously drawn up a schedule for 80 events. There was a brief discussion about it, and I said, I think this is a little too big. But I look into the future and see a series where at some point we're guaranteeing a 9-figure total. I don't know when that is. I think it's probably a few years away. But in terms of number of events, I think probably the limit is 4 events per day, no matter how big the industry gets. I think that even if you were to space them out as optimally as possible, the very most you could ever have is 4 events per day. And I think that's, like I said, I think that's years down the road because it depends on the growth in other markets around the time zones.
Sure.
And because we've got a few events right now that are targeted really early in the morning Eastern time, so they're targeted, at Eastern Europe and the Pacific Rim and that sort of area. But until that area grows to, what Europe is, for example, then there won't be a tournament every day for that time zone. Once there is, though, once there is that kind of demand, well, we'll have to address it.
Well, Brian, thank you very much for sparing the time to talk to us, and congratulations on a successful series, and good luck with planning the 2015 World Championship of Online Poker.
Yeah, planning starts next Monday, so we'll be off and running.
It's like Santa Claus. He gets like 3 days off before having to look at next year's list.
No rest for the wicked. Our thanks to Brian Slick, Senior Manager for Tournament Schedule and Online Championships at PokerStars, as we see a bit of a love-in at the moment at the table between Crazy Elior and Crown Up Guy. As we still wait for the numbers to come back, the players have paused the tournament as they discuss a potential deal, looking at chopping the remaining prize pool. And as soon as those numbers are published, we'll see the players' reactions to those numbers. Meanwhile, a reminder, the caption contest is live, Stapes.
It is, and I think that I got confused because there were random stuff coming in. Like Devin Lane says, "No, Stapes, I'll not chop with you." And I was like, What are you talking about? But it's the caption contest, so get them in.
Absolutely. If you use the hashtag WCoop, if you filter that, you'll see the picture. It was tweeted by @EPTLive. It's a picture of myself, Joseph, Ike Haxton and Mickey Peterson. Send in your captions for the contest, and we'll be back very shortly with more action from the Wcoop final table.
Well, the poker face that makes me laugh is just a face that makes me laugh for all kinds of reasons. It's Phil Hellmuth. He's just, when he gets raised in the turn and seeing him squirm in his chair. So I'd say Phil Hellmuth.
Michael Mizrachi has a real tough read. When he gets his chips in, you never know if he's got the nuts or he's got absolutely nothing, and that's how he just puts you to the test every time.
Liv Farie has an incredible poker face. She has this like stare down that it's like she's trying to see past your eyes and into your soul. It's really intense.
I don't know if it's the best poker face, but it's definitely the most noticeable. That's Timex, Mike McDonald. Okay, let me do an impression.
I don't like playing against him. Completely stone cold stare into nothingness. I don't even know how to do it. It's scary.
PokerStars 7 is an improved version of the software that players all around the world have trusted for more than 12 years. We've added new features that will enhance your online poker experience and make it even easier to find the games and tournaments you love. The lobby greets you with simple game filters that allow you to get to your tables faster than ever. And if you want, you can specify exactly the games you're looking for with all your favorite filters. The Favorites tab lets you create your own custom lobbies, which show only the games and tournaments that interest you. Simply choose your favorite games, tournaments, and filters, and then add them to your favorites lobbies for the easiest and quickest access to your games. PokerStars 7 also has new tabs that will take you directly to the biggest and best events, such as the weekly Sunday majors, special attractions such as the World Championship of Online Poker, and paths to all of our live event destinations. When you're in the new tournament lobby, you can now see at a glance all the info you need, such as tournament details when you're registering, and tournament progress for a game you're already in. The new chip graph feature tracks your progress through a tournament, alongside graphs of the average and largest chip stacks. And now you have more control than ever over your table layout. You can customize your view to display the things that are most important to you. The table controls are arranged in easy-to-access groups. They appear when you need them and disappear when you don't. We've also added a new apps bar, which organizes non-playing functions. This completely replaces the old options and requests menus in the previous software, and there's plenty of space for us to add new apps as we develop them. The customizable Quick Seat Lobby is a great tool for new and casual players to get instant one-click access to their favorite games. As you can see, PokerStars 7 has been designed with you in mind. Its new features make it more powerful for regular players and more welcoming for new players, showing that we put the player at the heart of everything we do. Welcome back to the World Championship of Online Poker main event final table, where the tournament has been paused while the players discuss a potential deal. They asked for the numbers. The numbers have since been provided, both chip chop and ICM numbers, and now the players are discussing the ramifications of that. It's James Hartigan alongside Joe Stapleton, and right now we are joined by Ike Haxton from Team PokerStars Online. Welcome, Ike.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Good to have you here, and obviously we reached that point, Ike, where they decide to potentially carve up the remaining prize pool.
Right.
The numbers have been announced. Crown Up Guy has the most chips right now. By ICM, he would receive just shy of 1.1 million, 1,082,000. According to Chip Chop, he'd get nearly 1.3 million, but he said, give me 1.1 million and I'm down for it. The Nerd Guy happy with the ICM numbers, but as Faraz Jaka, the toilet, points out, ICM beneficial to short stacks, hurts big stacks. And so now the negotiating starts. Generally, how long do you expect a process like this to last?
It could easily be quite a while. I've seen chop negotiations take 30 minutes or so in a tournament of this size, and you really can't blame the players for that. They're carving up a huge amount of money. A small percentage difference is tens of thousands of dollars, and there's no clearly right answer to what is fair. There are many, many factors, and you just have to be patient and let the players work it out.
It's weird because I noticed that there aren't too many people participating in the discussion right now. It seems to be mostly Faraz, Fedor, and Neckbreak.
Mm-hmm.
Haven't heard much from Nerd Guy or Dan.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just wondering what those guys are doing. I don't know if they're...
Well, the Nerd Guy's response is that ICM sounds good. That's his line, is that obviously as a shorter stack, ICM favours the short stacks, so he's going with that. But then, of course, the bigger stacks, mainly Fedor, Crown Up Guy, and Faraz, the Toilet, are going to argue for Chip Chop. So we'll see those negotiations continue. But you raised a really good point there, Ike and Joe, and I think this is sometimes where it's possible to lose perspective. When we're talking about, well, you're guaranteed, like, or the numbers give you 1,082,000, and you're saying, well, I want around 1.1 million, and it's very easy to say, come on, guy, you're going to get more than $1 million. What's a few, kind of like 40K?
What's 18,000
Yeah.
if you want 1.1 and you're getting 1.0? I mean, that's
These guys are
significant.
professional poker players. This guy wins $1 million. Next week, he's going to be back playing $200 buy-in tournaments and caring about how he does. So $20,000 right now, that's a significant amount of money.
And that's the key thing, is it remains, we're talking about big life-changing sums of money on top of really big life-changing sums of money. Let's just recap the actual agreed payouts or advertised payouts. The next player out would get close to $300,000, $281,673.
Let's be exact.
Yeah. Fifth place, big, these are decent jumps along the way, and they get really big as we
hell yeah.
as we move up. Fifth place pays $417,690. Fourth, $567,630. Then we get closer to a mill ball, $813,960 for third. Huge jump. If you come second, $1.25 million, and then a really big jump, $1.82 million for the winner. And with the variance that now comes into play, Ike, totally understandable that they would want to review that payout structure.
Absolutely. These are huge jumps. I'm guessing most of these players have never played for these stakes before, or maybe once or twice, and wouldn't expect to anytime particularly soon in the future.
Well, let's just look at where we are right now, because obviously Crown Up Guy is basically saying he wants 1.1 million. Neckbreak says that is reasonable. He's asked the tournament staff to give the numbers for 1.1 million for Crown Up Guy by taking roughly 20k off everyone else. Dan finally chimes in. You mentioned, Joe, that 19 Dan 86 has been a little bit quiet on the whole deal front. He says, guys, respect you all. However, I wouldn't feel comfortable taking less than ICM. And now Faraz speaks up and says, I won't shop for less than $1 million. If we go by Chip Chop and Crown wants 1.1, I want 1 million. There's 130k to spread around, plus, of course, the 200k to play for, and that's something important to point out.
Right.
You can't chop the Wcoop bracelet, obviously, and there also has to be $200,000 still in play.
Right.
And again, we say that even though you've locked up $1 million or whatever, you can't lose perspective here. $200,000 is a lot of money, so there's definitely still, a major prize at the end, which is worth playing it out for.
And
Absolutely.
I think Dan, who hadn't said much to this point, just chimes in with, I'd rather just play than get less than ICM. That is a fairly significant claim.
Yep. If he's sticking to that he's saying let's move on otherwise, he sounds stubborn about that point.
It sounds like we could very well be starting play back up.
Well, we'll see what happens as the deal plays out. As they continue to discuss, obviously we'll pick up the highlights of this conversation. I mean, as we can see now, a couple of players are saying that they should move on and continue playing out. If Faraz is going to stick to his guns and say that he wants around $1 million prize guaranteed, how has this World Championship of Online Poker Series gone for you? Because I imagine you've played a great deal of the 66 tournaments that were on offer this year.
I've played only a moderately busy schedule of tournaments. I've played mainly just the bigger no limit hold'em and PLO events, and In terms of the tournaments themselves, I've had a pretty disappointing series. I haven't had any big cashes, but I've also been playing a lot of the cash games that have run. The series has been really good for the PLO Zoom games that have been the main thing I've been playing this year, and I've played maybe 30,000 hands of 2550 PLO in the past month, and that went really well. I've had a good month.
So it's just like a live festival where the cash games that are running alongside the tournaments are like really juicy, bigger action than usual.
Every time with the Scoop and Wcoop series on Stars, the cash games really pick up alongside
Really?
Yeah.
And is that just because is it people are taking winnings from tournaments and immediately sitting down at cash game tables?
People are taking winnings from tournaments and sitting down at cash game tables. People get down to the end of their day playing the tournaments. They've got one table left. They're stuck at their computer and have nothing to do. There are a bunch of American, Spanish, French, Italian pros who relocate to somewhere they can play on .com for the series. And
so they're just going to get it all in while they can?
Yeah. There are just more people at their computer playing on PokerStars, and that trickles over into the cash game traffic. And sit-and-go traffic as well, for that matter.
Is that true of all of the online festivals on Stars, or is it particularly true to the Wcoop?
It was definitely true for Scoop as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. We didn't obviously get the chance to talk to Brian about the fact that, this is not the only festival that we run on PokerStars. Scoop is huge as well. The Turbo Championship Online Poker is becoming increasingly popular, but this is the biggest, right? I mean, this is the kind of World Series of online poker as far as players are concerned.
Yeah, Scoop is competitive. Scoop is very big too.
But obviously,
but it is not the one that's called the World Championships.
Exactly, yes. And obviously what we're seeing here is the main event, which is a $5,200 buy-in. The final 6 players in that tournament. Currently looking at the numbers and negotiations at the moment based on the ICM base numbers. Nerdbreak saying, I'm only willing to give up a maximum of 20,000. He says, I'm free to open up a little bit on the ICM base numbers, but we have to consider that locking out 200k for the winner also favors the chip leaders. So I wouldn't spend much time trying to extend those numbers even more. Crown Up Guy says, yes, that's why I just asked for an additional 18,000.
Just an additional.
In his opinion, 1.1 million for him and 945,000 for Faraz is fair. Ike, can you actually explain ICM, because many have tried.
In a word, no.
Not all have succeeded. Because chip shop's obviously very obvious, right? It's like the number of chips you have, the percentage of chips you have from the chips in play translates the amount you get from the prize pool.
Right.
ICM's not that simple.
ICM, the letters stand for Independent Chip Model, which is actually a phrase that can refer to any of a variety of similar models for valuing tournament stacks. I believe the one that people are most commonly talking about when they say ICM is the Malmuth-Weitzman ICM model, which has been written up somewhere. Very roughly, the idea behind the model is that your percentage of chips in play is your probability of taking first place in the tournament, and then you look at each of those scenarios where each of the players left wins the tournament. You remove their stack from play, and you look at the remaining stacks, and you say that each player's percentage of the remaining chips in the scenario where player X wins the tournament is their probability of taking second, and you sum up all of those probabilities. And it's quite a complicated system of equations. I don't think anybody ever really does it by hand. But it is a way of approximating the value of a stack in a tournament given a payout structure.
Do you, in your opinion, is that sort of hoops to jump through, is that necessarily convoluted or unnecessarily complicated and convoluted? Do you like it?
It is only a model. It is not the be-all, end-all truth
it's
of the value of a stack.
It's a way to do it.
But to my knowledge, I haven't seen a model that I think is clearly better.
Do you think someone has one but just hasn't shared it?
It's within the realm of possibility. If I had a model that I thought was much better than ICM, I would go play the highest stakes sit and goes I could find and not tell anybody about it.
Oh, look at that. Maybe he does.
I think it's fair to say, Ike, that you're someone that most people would have in their corner if a deal was being discussed. In fact, this came up last night when we were talking about the UK IPT on the Isle of Man, which is kicking off in the next few days. And once again, we're going to be providing a live stream from the last 2 days of that tournament. You came in as a guest commentator on the live stream from the final table of the main event. And obviously it was at the point that you left the booth, we saw the third place eliminated, and it was heads up between Fatima Maria de Melo and Duncan McClellan, the eventual winner. And obviously they started talking about a deal, and Fatima just sees you walking across the floor, and she's like, Ike, get over here right away. And suddenly you become official consultant to Fatima de Melo while also having to explain the concept of ICM to the other guy.
Well, the tournament was down to 2 players at that point, so once you're heads up, ICM and Chip Chop are equivalent.
Right.
Because there are only 2 players left, so your probability of getting second, given that the other guy wins, is 100%.
I'm just going to take note of that. ICM and Chip Chop are the same at heads up. Okay.
Bank that one. We might need it later. But yeah, obviously it was quite interesting to see you provide a general overview for both players.
But yeah, the other player was just not really familiar with the idea of a chop in general. He was a bricklayer, literally. That was his job, and he liked talking about it a lot, if I recall correctly.
Was he a bricklayer, or was he like using it like in the metaphor? I'm laying a lot of brick here.
No, he was
I'm
an
not
actual
sure what
bricklayer.
the metaphor would be.
He basically the line was, I'm a bricklayer, give me the numbers.
Awesome.
He actually won a second UK IPT title, by the way, about 6 months later in Nottingham. So he's one of the 2-time club on that tour. So reminder, UK IPT going to Isle of Man next week. 2 days of live coverage next Sunday and Monday. And Ike, you're heading there once again?
Yeah, I'm headed there in a little more than 24 hours, I guess.
So the schedule for you is obviously here for this, off to Isle of Man, and then EPT London straight after.
Yep.
You have busy few days and weeks ahead of you.
Absolutely.
It looked like they were close to a deal, by
yeah.
the way, and they were waiting on one last okay, but now things seem to have gotten complicated again.
Well, let's just recap what's going on here. Everyone deciding who should give up 2K, 5K, 10K here. Here comes Faraz. We're going off the ICM numbers. I said, beep it, let's just deal. I'm fine with ICM, as Crown, Neckbreaker, Nerd Guy can give up enough so I get 950K. Crown Up Guy says, as short stacks, you're way more likely to end up in ICM pressure spots with already 2 big stacks at the table and huge pay jumps coming up. ICM doesn't consider that. Giving up money is just fair. And then Faraz says, as long as... And that's as far as the conversation went. Crown Up Guy says, Nerd, can you give 9 so we solve this? We have seemed to have reached a little bit of an impasse. Every now and then there's a glimmer of hope that they're going to come to some kind of resolution, and then someone steps in, and look, it's only fair that all 6 guys have got to agree to something, or it ain't going to happen.
Right. And it's obviously a very complicated negotiation.
We should mention that, you know, we're only really reporting on what's happening, by the way. We don't want to influence the discussions in any way, which is why we have to be relatively reserved about what we're talking about here. I would love to straight up ask Ike, what do you think of what's happening here? Ike can't tell us right now.
I have plenty of opinions that I have to be holding back.
We need to let this play out on its own, which is why we need to just sort of be a little bit mum about what's happening.
Yeah, we talk about Ike coming into your corner. That's not going to happen here. Ike Haxton is not for hire.
Ike, do you remember when you shut me down a second ago?
When I shut you down?
No, I don't remember it either. People on Twitter always say weird stuff. Wow, Ike just shut you down, Stave's brutal. I don't yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember when that happened.
Oh, we just shut you down, buddy. We just shut you down. By the way, if you want to get in touch on Twitter, now's a great time to do it while we wait for these deal negotiations to work themselves out. Hashtag Wcoop.
Yeah, and don't forget to keep those captions coming in. A bit later on, we're going to get Ike to pick his favourite caption. Mickey's going to pick his favourite caption. And then we are going to see a little bit of a competition between the 2 finalists with a chance to win prizes here on this live stream. And where are we now with these discussions?
We've got Faraz asking for 5K from Crown Up Guy.
Crown Up Guy's response, come on, Faraz. The Toilet says, Crown, can you take 5K less? You're already getting plenty over 1 million. Crown Up Guy says, I don't care much about the money. I want a fair deal. For surely a fair deal is about the money. These discussions continue. Very shortly, by the way, we hope to be joined on the line. We're going to make this a four-man booth because we remotely hope to be joined by Jason Mercier from Team PokerStars Pro. I mean, it's one of those things where once you get to the end of the summer, like everyone generally takes a break after Vegas, after the series, and then it's full speed ahead. You've got EPT Barcelona, which kind of kicks off a whole new poker year, a whole new season. Then everyone finds somewhere in the world where they're going to base themselves for 3 weeks to play this.
Yep.
Did you stay home in Malta for most of it?
Yeah.
Have you? Where in the past have you played Wcoop from? Have you ever gone anywhere?
Wcoop, I think I'm trying to remember if last year or either last year or the year before I was in Hong Kong. Man, I have been so many different places in the last 3 years. I can't keep track of when I've been where. I think I've been in.
Pretend like it's a customs agent asking you, Ike, because then you need to have these answers.
Well, that actually happened to me.
And they
2
don't
days
believe
ago.
that you don't remember, right?
Yeah, the customs agent, as I was leaving Malta, asked me where I had been just before I entered Malta.
And you were like,
And
nah.
I just kind of got a deer in the headlights look on my face and turned around and asked my wife, Zoe, where were we just before here? And then came up with the wrong answer. And I forgot that I had spent one night in Hamburg on my way to Malta to go to the PokerStars VIP party there. And the customs agent held up my passport to me and pointed at it and said, you were not in Hamburg on August 31st? I was like, oh, well, no, yeah, I was. You don't remember being there? No, now I do. I'm sorry.
Oh, Ike, international man of mystery.
And on that subject, let's introduce Jason Mercier from Team PokerStars Pro. Good morning, good evening, Jason, wherever you are in the world.
Good night, actually. Yeah, it's kind of late. It's 1:20 here. I'm in the Dominican Republic.
Dominican Republic. Well, we're talking about funky places where you might end up playing Wcoop from. I'd definitely put that on the list, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Are you railing this through to its conclusion, Jason, or have you got your eyes on a particular player at the final table?
Yeah, I've been watching a little bit, but I guess I'm kind of rooting for Faraz, Jaka, the Toilet.
And as you can see right now, the negotiations continue, and Faraz has just tried to recap the numbers, which is an adjustment of the ICM chop deal. 1.1 for Crown Up Guy, 945k for Faraz, 779,000 for Crazy Elior, 768,000 for 19 Dan 86, 708,000 for the Nerd Guy, and 651,000 for Neckbreak, with 200k still to play for. So let's just see those numbers officially confirmed by the tournament staff. And crucially, let's see if everyone agrees by texting I agree into the chat box. We'll see if there's any resistance to that. So I asked Ike the question, Jason.
Looks like 19 Dan 86 has said not taking off 1K from me.
Oh,
sorry to interrupt.
Not at all. He says don't feel comfortable doing it. So yes, already we have resistance before the numbers have even been officially proposed. So Jason, how has this championship series gone from your perspective? Has it been good, or did you kind of brick it like Ike here?
I bricked all the tournaments, but I played a lot of cash during my trip here. I was in the Dominican for maybe like 9 days, and I didn't do well in Wcoop events, but I made a bunch of money playing cash games, so that was good.
So pretty much ditto what you were saying,
Yep,
Ike.
same story from me.
What are your favourite events in the schedule? I mean, we were talking to Brian Slick about how it's grown over the years, Jason. 66 events on the schedule this year and set to potentially grow in 2015. Are there any particular tournaments you look forward to?
I always look forward to the 10K 8 game. That's my favorite event. I wish I could play that event once every couple days. It's a great event, and obviously the main event. But I look forward to playing some PLO events, and also the 2K horse, and even some tournaments that I wouldn't necessarily get to play a tournament format, play a Raz tournament or something like that. Like a $500 or $1,000 tournaments in weird formats.
Meanwhile, it looks like we might actually have a resolution here. 19Dan86 adamant that he's not taking 1K off. Neckbreak says, WTF, take it from me. So Crown Up Guy says, okay, then 21K from Neck, 9K from Nerd, 1K from Elior. Jake Cody, do your magic. Jake Cody is the member of Team Pro who is officially hosting this final table. He says, please give us a moment and we will have the custom numbers right with you. So just to clarify, Ike, the official tournament staff will actually propose those numbers, and then it's up to all 6 players to say whether they agree to those numbers.
Right.
And what inevitably happens is at the 11th hour, someone then pipes up and says they want to change. But
wait,
how
often does it fall apart at this point?
Reasonably often.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh boy. Fingers crossed, everybody. Look, I just want a fair deal for everyone. That's all I want.
With exactly the way it's played out so far, it seems like everybody knows exactly what's being proposed. Often it gets to this point where somebody is listing off the proposed numbers
and there's just some confusion.
Much more quickly without everybody having participated in the negotiations to the extent that they have this time. I'd say anything could happen still, for sure. Until everybody has said they agree, it's not over.
So, Jason, Ike has outlined his travel plans for the next few weeks now that the Wcoop is coming to a close. What have you got on your schedule? Are you coming over this side of the Atlantic? Are you coming to London?
Yeah, I'm coming to London. I'm going to go home for about a week to Florida, then go to London. I'm probably going to play the St. Kitts, St. Martin, and then the Jacksonville WPTs, an Alpha 8 event, and probably finish up the year doing EPT Prague.
How far ahead do you plan normally?
Sometimes I don't make decisions until, a few days before or a week before. I didn't know I was going to Dominican until maybe 10 days before I actually went. I booked it, and but I try to plan a couple months in advance, but a lot of it is tentative and not finalized until I actually book flights and hotels.
Every time I book flights more than a month or two in advance, I end up regretting it.
Because plans change, things come up, places you want to be.
What ends up costing you more money, changing pre-existing plans or booking last-minute plans?
I would guess the former. I don't really think booking last-minute plans is that much more expensive most of the time. You can get unlucky, but you can get lucky, too.
Right, because if you...
Sometimes last-minute flights are cheap.
Fair enough. Changing them, not that cheap.
Mm-hmm.
Jason, on an average trip for you, how many basketball jerseys do you pack? Is it just one or two, or do you have, a dozen?
I don't really pack too many basketball jerseys. I used to bring the LeBron jersey, but I can't really do that anymore because he doesn't play for the Heat. But, yeah, usually either 0 or 1.
0 or 1. It seems like more. Maybe that's just the image I have of him.
You're not up to date with the modern Jason Mercier wardrobe.
Tell us a little bit about the modern Jason Mercier wardrobe, Ike. And Jason, you tell us if you agree.
Okay.
I feel like Jason's been going for a little more of a sophisticated style lately. More like button-down shirts and closed-toed shoes and less of the flip-flops.
Laces and things like that. Yeah. Jason, do you agree?
It sounds like I go between that and just wearing like basketball shorts and just a t-shirt or whatever. But I do put on a pair of jeans every now and then for the poker tournaments.
Never thought I'd see the day. Jason Mercier, long pants, closed-toed shoes, laces. Do you untie them and tie them every day, or do you just pop them on and off? That's the true test.
Yeah, no, I don't tie my shoes. They just slip on and off.
That would have been too much to ask for. Jason, I've got a couple of Wcoop trivia questions for you. Do you want to play a quick little trivia game with us?
That sounds like enthusiasm to me.
I guess I'm gonna have to.
That sounds like a yes. Did you hear how excited he was to accept that challenge?
I meant to say I have World Championship of Online Poker trivia questions for you. Here you go. Ready? Here's the first question. I'm looking for it's two answers together. It's a two-part question, so I want you have to answer both at the same time. Here we go. The middle initial of recent American President George Bush and a place where you would house chickens. The middle initial of recent American President George Bush and a place where you would house chickens.
A place where you would house chickens?
Yep.
Preceded by the middle initial of recent U.S. President George Bush.
Correct.
Well, I know it's W.
Yep. He's got half of it.
Is that the first letter of the word? Is that...
You got the first half. You move on to the second part of the question. Yep. So that you've got the first part. Just lock that in. Lock in W. And then also add to it a place where you would house chickens.
Chicken house? W
chicken house is so close. W farm, work it out.
Wcoop.
Wcoop, yes, correct. Well done. All right, he's 1 for 1. Here comes
that was tricky.
Here comes question number 2. The one character name of a chain of upscale hotels, often lauded by Daniel Negreanu, and a metaphorical place where fugitives would often fly from.
Can you repeat that? Can you repeat that, please?
Sure, no problem. The one character name of a chain of upscale hotels and a metaphorical place where fugitives often fly from. Let's piece it together like we did the first one, right?
Oh my gosh.
A chain of...
Wcoop.
Wcoop,
wow,
correct, yes. Good. Absolutely. Yeah. Well done.
Upscale hotels gave it away, bro.
Okay, I got to make these questions harder. Question number 3. The German luxury car BM blank and the name of Michael Showalter's character from the movie Wet Hot American Summer.
I'm gonna go with Wcoop.
Yes, Wcoop. 3 for 3.
He's too good.
He's really good at this game.
You should throw in like a scoop every now and then. Man.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna take notes from you, buddy. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
I can give you comedy lessons, bro.
Actually, yes. Let's talk. DM me. Do you still follow me on Twitter? DM me, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Okay, dude. Buddy.
Thank you very much to Jason Mercier from Team PokerStars Pro. And Jason, we will see you at EPT London.
Yes, sounds very good.
Say it like you mean it. Thank you very much, Jason. A reminder that the next leg of the European Poker Tour is in London. We mentioned that UK IPT Isle of Man is coming up. 2 days of live streaming from that. EPT London features 5 full days of live streaming as we follow the main event through from day 2 through to the final table. So plenty of good stuff coming up on PokerStars.tv. Right now you are looking at the final table of the World Championship of Online Poker main event. Not a lot happening on the screen right now because the tournament's been paused for about 45 minutes now.
Is it really?
Yeah, while the players have been discussing a potential deal, it seems that with some adjustment to the ICM numbers, we might have the prospect of a deal. We are just waiting for the official numbers to be confirmed by the tournament staff. They will be pasted into the chat box by one of the tournament hosts, and then we'll see if the players agree to those revised numbers.
I've got a question for Ike that I think that he can field because it has nothing to do with this particular deal happening. Mm-hmm. There are always people who chime in on Twitter and on forums that I would never deal, there should be no deals in poker, why would I ever do a deal? Is there anyone, Ike, who is a named poker player, someone we know who in this day and age refuses to deal?
Who refuses to deal?
Yeah,
is there plenty? I don't think Daniel Negreanu will chop in tournaments. I don't think Phil Ivey will chop in tournaments. Those are the first 2 that come to mind, but I would guess there are quite a few others.
Okay, so there are still folks out there. that won't deal at all. That if they were in this situation, we'd be playing on right now. There wouldn't even have been.
Oh yeah,
everyone has to click a box. I've never made a final table, so I don't know.
Yeah,
but
you go to the info tab and there's a discuss deal box or something.
I tried that once where there were about 14,000 players left in the Sunday Million, and it didn't come through. It was bizarre. I tweeted it and everything, which was weird. But are you the kind of person? I assume that if you're in this situation, you would have ticked the box.
I would always be willing to discuss a deal. I
wouldn't always necessarily accept a deal.
Agreed to what other people proposed, but yeah.
And what do you say to people who say that there should be no deals allowed and or that this is weak? This is some weak poker S.
I mean,
you're not a true poker player if you deal, bro.
I don't really buy that. I don't know what else to say. I don't think it compromises the integrity of the game in any way. I think that
I can picture Ike facing a bully in the schoolyard the same way. He's like, "Yo, bro," why? And he'd be like, "Look, I don't really buy into me being a loser. I disagree with you."
I'll have you know
sir.
That didn't really work very well when I was 14, but
no, it doesn't. Looks like the numbers are imminent.
Yes, Jake Cody is back.
There we go.
After the suggestion from 19Dan86 that Jake has gone to change a nappy, he returns, and here are the custom numbers that the players have discussed. The proposal is that the chip leader Crown Up guy would receive 1.1 million. Faraz Jaka, the toilet, would receive 945,000. Crazy Elliot would get $780,227.66. Then 19Dan86 would get $769,813.52. The Nerd Guy would get $708,251.21, with Neckbreak getting $651,430.61. 1.2 million left to play for. Crown Up Guy has agreed. The Nerd Guy agrees. Neckbreak agrees. The Toilet agrees. Let's see.
We are pending answers from Elior and Dan.
Remember, the players are expected to type the words "I agree" in the chat box if they do agree to the terms of the deal. So far, Crown Up Guy, the Nerd Guy, Neckbreak, and the Toilet have all texted "I agree." 19Dan86 is in as well. So we await the response from Crazy Elior, who will be guaranteed $780K from this proposed deal. Still no response. He agrees.
We have a deal.
Is that it?
That's it.
All six players.
Well, it's
have
been a great
agreed.
show, everybody. We will we'll see you guys for next year's Wcoop.
They still have to play it out.
Oh, wait, what?
There is still $200,000 in play.
All
which
of
is
that, and it's not even over?
$200,000 and the World Championship of Online Poker main event bracelet. So all the players have agreed to the terms of that deal. The lion's share of the prize pool has been chopped up, with Crown Up Guy taking the biggest single sum, 1.1 million. Faraz Jaka taking 945,000. But 200K is a huge amount of money. That's still up for grabs to the eventual winner, plus, of course, the title and the bracelet that goes with it.
So this deal's locked in. There's nothing that can change about it now, no matter what I say. No matter what I say. Oh my gosh, you guys just made the worst deal. Oh, you blew it. Unbelievable. It was so hard for me to keep my mouth shut that whole time. I can't believe they did that.
Well, it's hard to imagine a deal where everyone got the worst of it. But
then somehow it happened. Exactly. You all made the worst deal ever. Oh my God.
Over the course of those discussions, by the way, various people were tweeting in with their own opinions of who should give up, who shouldn't, and who was getting a fair deal and who wasn't. Stacktum Donk raised a very good point. He says Elio should have asked for 4 more cents to round up his number to $780,227.70.
Yeah, yes, that's exactly what I was thinking, actually. I know Ike wanted to say that, but he couldn't.
Yeah.
I mean, we were all thinking it.
There are sort of feng shui elements to the amount of money in your payout that are important to consider for your future fortunes.
Yeah, you got to end it in a good digit. I was interesting. The sort of audience was somewhat divided on Dan's stance to not give up 1K. Some people were saying that's terrible. Other people were saying what a boss. You know what I would do, by the way, if I were Dan, and I wouldn't deal for that 1 extra K? Like, once someone else gave it up, I would now, like, tweet a picture of myself lighting 1K on fire. Just to be like, hey, guys, this is why I wouldn't give up that $1,000.
Now that the deal has concluded, Ike, after that they've agreed those numbers, they're going to still play for the 200,000 and for the bracelet. I guess now you can be a bit more forthcoming with your opinions and your thoughts on what we saw happen there. How did you feel about those negotiations? Was anyone being unrealistic or unfair?
I don't think anybody was being unrealistic or unfair. I was clearly kidding when I said everyone got the worst of the deal.
Of course, yes.
And it seemed like a pretty standard deal negotiation between experienced poker players. You know, they see the ICM numbers. The chip leader says, I'm going to need some more than that. And the chip leader ends up getting a little bit more than ICM. Because basically the present state of knowledge about what stacks are worth late in a tournament is that ICM is about as close as we can get, and that it undervalues the big stacks by some amount.
And obviously the person who seemed least reticent to do the deal at the end, Faraz at first, was he wanted $1 million.
Yeah.
And unfortunately couldn't get anyone to budge from that number that he was given from the chop, which was 945,000.
Nice try for us.
But he relented in the end and said, okay, fair enough, let's do it.
He didn't even stick to it for that long, it seems.
So you've seen people go even more sort of heavy on sort of pushing for...
Yeah, absolutely.
But then it was Dan who held things up, not wanting to give up 1,000.
Yeah.
I mean, from a casual observer's perspective, you can kind of understand when we're talking about these life-changing sums of money that if someone is basically set to get the better part of $800,000, it might seem weird that they would be so gung-ho about not giving up $1,000 from what is a huge amount of money.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, if it had really come down to the last minute and no one else would budge, and that 1,000 was the difference between the deal getting done and not, we might have seen him change his mind. But to a very significant extent, these deal negotiations come down to a battle of wills and sort of complicated game of ultimatums and credible or not so credible threats from each of the parties involved. It's
highly nuanced, is what you're saying.
It's very complicated, and the informal structure of it makes it even more so that it's really just a conversation. It's, you know, they're playing a game just like the game of poker that they're playing the rest of the tournament.
Right, it's another game.
But the rules are less clear. You don't act in turn, and you can take back your moves until the very last minute. And so it's really just very complicated.
I really never thought about a lot of that stuff, and I guess it's probably one of the hardest things to practice in all of poker, because how often are you in that situation?
You're not in that situation very often at all. And, you know, the thing that you might not consider is that a lot of these guys have sold action or have swaps, and they're talking to their friends who have pieces of them during the negotiations. Those people are weighing in on what they should do.
I'm sure you get a lot of unsolicited advice, too, when you're in deal negotiations, right? People just, your Skype or your Facebook probably blowing up with people telling you what to do or not to do.
So let's just recap those prizes one more time. We will get them up on the screen ASAP. But we've got Crown Up Guy receiving 1.1 million. And Faraz did manage to get a little bit, because ICM suggested 932k. He wanted $1 million. He managed to get up to 945,000. So he got a little bit extra on top of what the original ICM numbers said. Crazy Elliot walking away with just over 780,000. Dan 86, close to 770,000. 708k for the Nerd Guy, and 651,000 for Neckbreak. But remember, there is still $200,000 in play. That's what the winner will receive, along with the title and the bracelet. So this isn't one of those situations, Ike, where you'll see people just, we can just move all in blind now. I mean,
no,
obviously
not.
We joke about, well, that's it. No, it's not at all. As with any of our tournaments, there's always something to play for and every reason to keep going for it, because 200k is a lot of money.
And, you know, there might be a few folks at this table where this is the biggest score of their lives, and maybe they're focused on the money, but there's certainly a couple people here where a Wcoop title means something to them.
Yeah.
Well, let's bring in our next guest. We have Jonathan Duhamel joining us from Team PokerStars Pro. What time will it be where Jonathan is? Early hours of the morning. So good morning, Jonathan.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Yeah, we're slightly confused about time zones today because we got up in the middle of the night for this. So we're all a bit kind of...
We've got an all-in pot here, not to interrupt.
Oh. Queens against Ace-King. It's
Worst
a race.
race ever.
And the
Nerd Guy is doubled. Dan's quite short now.
Dan left with 2.1 million. Nerd Guy up to 9.6 million. Thank you for keeping us honest, and that's why we've got you in the booth, Ike. You keep one eye on the screen so we know what's happening, and we'll keep tabs of those significant pots. But Jonathan, great to have you with us at this time of day. 1:40 in the morning where you are?
Yeah, something like that. Actually, just I was sleeping and just got up to went to do this webcast and just watch some of the final table. Pretty interesting to see those guys playing for that much money.
Jonathan, you were asleep at 1:40 a.m.?
Yeah, I know, but I'm flying tomorrow morning.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Yeah, so that's why. Because usually, you know how it is. We're not sleeping at that time, right?
No, you especially, man. You're a big fat party animal. Also, question for you. I can hear an echo. Are you standing in a Faraz Jaka? I'm going to assume that means yes. But he's probably sitting would be my guess.
Yeah. No, I'm right home, but in my kitchen right now, actually.
Oh, it's your kitchen. Oh, that also explains the echo, because poker players have no food and or things to hook them with, so it's probably a completely empty kitchen. You said you're flying in the morning. Where are you going?
Yeah, flying to Australia, actually, tomorrow morning. Gonna try to go win some bracelet over there.
World Series of Poker, huh? All right, buddy.
Yeah.
Do you have you? I assume you've been to Australia before.
Yeah, I have. I've been there twice, and it's one of the reasons why I want to go back there. Last time I went was for the Aussie Million, which PokerStars was doing some pretty good job over there as well. And it's so much fun. It's probably my favorite country in the world to go visit. So it's always try to find all the reasons to try to go there and just have some fun. So why not go try to win a bracelet over there?
Are you going to be taking a bunch of Wcoop winnings with you, or do you have some catching up to do? How was your series?
Probably some catching up to do's. Played quite a lot, and it was a lot of fun to try to play a lot of different games as well. Not only No Limit Hold'em, but a couple of mixed games here and there. So it was a lot of fun, and it's always good to play online because when you travel a lot, you don't play as much as I don't play as much as what I used to play. So it's fun to get back on the online tables and just try to do well and keep on practicing.
And you played Wcoop from Canada this year?
Yeah, that's right. From Montreal, actually.
In your house, or what was your sort of? I'm always curious because a lot of times people get together. They spend the days grinding next to each other, hanging out. Did you and the F Dog get together? Or were you playing solo? What was your Wcoop like socially?
It was mostly solo, to be honest. I know some guys like French Dog were playing as well, but I was trying to be home, trying to be with the girlfriend, and just trying to see my family at the same time. So yeah, trying to it's one of the things that you're not home often when you travel that much. So it's just kind of feels good to be home and cook your own food and stuff like that, own meals. So that was pretty good.
All right, now I'm going to put you on the spot. What did you cook? What does Jonathan Duhamel cook?
Oh boy, some amazing breakfast, that's for sure. And for the rest, not much.
So you make eggs a la Jonathan?
Yeah, and then she cooks the rest, so that's good.
That also explains why Jonathan's in bed at 1:40 in the morning if he's locked up at this point.
Yeah, I guess so.
Jonathan, you said that you like to play mixed games and some different variants in the Wcoop. If you could add any event to the Wcoop for next year, the Jonathan Duhamel tournament, what would it be?
Oh, wow. Probably just more and more 8-game tournaments. There's some big ones that the 10K yesterday, but there's not that many medium ones. There was the 2K horse that was pretty good also. So just more and more mixed games events, I think.
Sorry to interrupt you, Jonathan. We just saw an elimination from the final table. You mentioned, Ike, that after that hand against the nerd guy at 19. Dan 86 was short. He got it in there with ace 7 against the ace queen of neck break. Brick the flop, turn and river, and Dan goes out in 6th place. But he's not walking away with 6th place prize money. He's walking away with the better part of 800 grand. $769,813.52. And
not a dollar less than ICM.
And there we see, I guess, one of the advantages of making a deal. Okay, 1 minute you're a big stack, and then you get involved in a
sick
cooler,
race, an unavoidable confrontation.
Ace king against queens. You're on the losing end of that race. Next thing you know, you're short. You have to gamble. You don't get lucky. So that stack quickly disappears.
That's why you make a deal, everyone. Are you paying attention? Jonathan, what can you I'm really curious. What can you tell us about your girlfriend?
She's pretty cute.
Well, yeah, obviously. I would expect nothing less. You were single for a long time, weren't you, homie?
Yeah, I was. There were some good times, but I don't know. Things change, I guess, but it's all for the best, so life is good right now.
Give me one quality, one characteristic about her that made you decide, like, I'm hanging up my old single guy superhero costume.
She's just smiling and laughing all the time, so it makes me laugh, and that's all you need, I think.
Well, that sounds like a good match for you, buddy, because you're always smiling and laughing.
Yeah, I'm kind of a stupid, smiling, laughing all the time. Just stupid, happy, I guess.
Are we going to potentially see her on the road at all? I'd like to meet this young lady.
Probably not that much because she's working in Montreal. She's a teacher, so that would be tough. You know, you got to come back in Montreal, I guess, and then we'll see over there. But you know, besides Vegas during the summer, there's not much that she can travel to. Maybe PCA.
We'll see. Winter break, PCA.
Yeah, that could work maybe.
I don't know. This girl sounds made up. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, you can't meet her. She's a teacher. Well, I've heard this one before. My girlfriend's a teacher too, buddy.
All right.
All right, Jonathan, man. We know you got a flight in the morning or just a few hours from now. We appreciate it, and good luck in your new relationship, buddy.
All right, good. And guys, have fun at EPT London also. It's going to be a big one.
We will. Thank you very much, Jonathan.
Right.
And thank you for getting up in the middle of the night to talk to us. We appreciate it.
Yeah, cheers, mate, guys.
Good luck in Australia.
Yeah, thanks.
Jonathan Duhamel from Team PokerStars Pro. And a quick reminder that our caption competition is running here. And you can get in touch at any point during the show. If you've got questions for Ike, anything you want to say to us, use the hashtag Wcoop and we'll see it on our Twitter timeline. But we are also running this caption competition. And we did tweet a photograph a little bit earlier on. It was tweeted by @EPT Live.
Before we get to that, we do have a hand that's gone to the river here.
Crown up guy against neck break.
Quite a big pot. Less than pot left to play in neck break stack. Didn't quite catch the action. That's quite a small bet.
We're getting word that there was a check raise on the turn.
A bet of close to 188,000 on the river. Neck break going into the time bank. Every player coming into this final table with 120 seconds of time bank. And it's a call. Jack 4. So, interesting check raise on the turn. Gets there on the river. Crown up guy extends his chip lead up to nearly 17 million now. And back to the caption competition. So, yeah, if you search that Twitter hashtag, Wcoop, you'll see this photograph. It was the preparations that...
Have you seen it, Ike?
The team were making.
I see it right now.
And obviously what we need to happen here, Ike, is we need to pick a winning... Well, you need to pick one winning caption, or a caption that you like, rather. When Mickey's in here, we're going to get him to pick another caption. And the two people that you pick are going to compete on air in a competition, which will run a bit later on for prizes. So here are some early suggestions, shortlisted by our team. Matt Saunders. Let's show these players how a real chop negotiation is done. And this one
always appreciate a bad pun.
This one from Severin. Joe clowning aroundington, railing Mickey fake fight Peterson and James Sordigan while Ike pretends to be strong.
Wordy. Little wordy.
Yeah, I'm not feeling that one.
I like this one. It didn't make the list our producers picked out, but what do you think of this one, Ike, from Kevin? Do you even 5-bet, bro? It got a nod, even though he's not saying it. It got like the kind of like nod from him.
Yeah. I think the first is still.
It's the front runner right now, is it?
It is.
We had a lot
Twitter,
of
you guys need to be working harder. I think we can do better than this.
What do you think of this one from Foggy? It says the official coat of arms of the Wcoop final table coverage.
It
That's
does
not so bad.
Kind of have that coat of arms look,
right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, obviously you don't have to make a snap decision. By the way, you got plenty of time to pick a winner,
right.
so you don't feel
I'll
pressured.
think it through.
Yeah, and you heard the rallying cry, Twitter. Get on it. Better suggestions, please. I appreciate that many of you are deprived of sleep, but that's not an excuse, and we're not going to take it as one. So more guests coming up a bit later on. We're going to bring Mickey Peterson in from Team Online during the next section of the show, and we'll get Mickey to answer some of your questions as well. Keep those questions coming in. Tag your tweets, Wcoop. And you got some games to run with us as well, Joe.
I prepared a bunch of race situation type games today. I thought maybe that what we could do is I've 5 different sets of race situations. We can play one with Ike, we can play one with Mickey, and then see really who is the better of the two of them at racing. We must have played race situations before.
I don't think I've been present for this.
Really? Okay. Are you aware of how the game is played?
I'm picturing something politically contentious, but I feel like I'm wrong.
It is not nearly as inflammatory as the name might make it sound. It has nothing to do with Ferguson. It's not that kind of race situation. It is a metaphor for poker.
All right.
Where, as you know, occasionally these races will happen where you have a pocket pair versus overcards. Typically, the pocket pair is the slight mathematical favorite. What I've done is I've taken other race situations from real life, and you have to tell me which of the two is the slight mathematical favorite.
I see.
Do we have time to play?
We have time
race
to play
situations right now. Okay, here we go. We're gonna give Ike a little.
Because you have to snap answer. Okay, you're not allowed to think too
No,
hard.
no, he can think. No, I would like honestly.
I'm giving him 10 seconds to think. He's a genius. He
But
can
I
make
like,
snap
but I like
decisions.
them to talk it out. Is the thing
Okay.
because we like to know why they, how they come to the determination. So first one here, Ike. Ready?
Yep.
Pants versus shirts. Which one has the slight mathematical advantage? Pants versus shirts.
Well, if I'm going to be without one, it is more often the shirt. So, I guess pants.
Correct.
That's a slight
Correct.
mathematical favorite.
1 for 1. Pants. What, James? Why are you making a face? Do you think that was too easy?
No, I'm just saying that it was genius at work. You see, the logical explanation, and then the conclusion.
Okay, next one up. Great taste versus less filling. Which one has the slight mathematical advantage?
I go great taste every time.
2 for 2. Ike Haxton, good at flipping so far, everybody. Great at race situations. Number 3, Tango versus Cash.
What?
Of the buddy cop duo Tango and Cash.
It was an 80s action movie. It wasn't very good.
Oh, boy.
I am not.
He's going to have to play this
on
one.
my 80s action
He's going to have to play
movies.
this one blind. He's playing it dark.
You got a 50-50 shot, Ike. Take a stab.
No, he has a 51-49 shot.
Tango.
Correct. 3 for 3. This guy's unbeatable. This is going to be tough for Mickey to beat. Question number 4. Family Guy versus The Simpsons.
Simpsons.
4 for 4.
Wow.
Ike Haxton, 4
Family Guy kind of got old quickly.
for effing 4. It's a little mean. We got one last one before we go to break. Ryu versus Ken.
I have to push you for an answer, Ike.
Ken.
Incorrect. Ryu. Hadouken, slight favorite.
An 80% score for Ike Haxton as the players go on break, and we do the same here at the Wcoop main event.
Have I mellowed? I think I feel very privileged, and I think I understand it more now. Whereas in the past, it's always just a grind, and I always feel slighted. You know, there's always been a big chip on my shoulder. I don't win a tournament for 2 years. Everybody says I suck at poker. And I hear those voices. And so it's like it just drives me and drives me. And so I haven't really always been as happy as I should be in the poker arena. Afterwards, my life is like amazing. You know, I'm doing all these amazing things. Married, 23 years. And so it's just been an amazing ride for me. But sometimes in the poker arena, it's just too intense. I think sometimes you just have to say, hey, I've been blessed, I've been given a lot in life, and I feel like, I think I've changed. You have to be able to play your best poker, recognize all your blessings without being cocky. It's a natural thing to have your ego flare a little bit. I mean, a great 2011, great 2012, everybody's talking about how great I am, blah, 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 blah. And it gets to your ego a little bit. As much as you fight it, and as much as you're aware of it, and as much as you have all these tricks that you use against it, and then the wisdom of age. Like, my ego doesn't get set off, when I was 24, it would get set off quickly, 34, quickly. I'm 49 now. But it still ramps up. You still see all these articles. You still see all these people talking about, you're great, you know what I mean? And if you buy into that, then you might as well just go home. It's important to digest all those wins and just kind of stay on track. But I don't think many people do that well. I still have all the moves. I have a little more patience now, too. So I think I have a much better kind of combination and feel for the game. So we'll see where that leads.
PokerStars 7 introduces the customizable Quick Seat lobby, where you can join our most popular games with just one click. Or you can configure it exactly how you want with shortcuts to get into your favorite types of games quickly. If you're a cash game player, you can create Quick Seat shortcuts. Just choose your favorite game type, buy-in, stakes, and preferred table size, and you're ready to play your favorite ring game. If you have more than one favorite, just click on the plus button to create more shortcuts. You can also switch between Zoom and standard games easily. If you like playing tournaments, the tabs in the Quick Seat tournament lobby let you choose between sit and goes and scheduled tournaments. The Quick Seat tournament lobby also lets you see every tournament you've registered for or are currently playing via My Tournaments. Sit and go tournament shortcuts work the same way as the cash game ones. You can configure shortcuts to help you join the tournament types you like the most. Simply choose your favorite type of games and click register for the ones you want to play. As with cash games, you can add more choices by clicking the plus icon. In the PokerStars 7 Quick Seat Scheduled Tournaments lobby, available games look like tournament tickets and show the next 20 tournaments that match your filter criteria. On the ticket, you'll clearly see how long you have left before registration closes, what the buy-in is, how big the prize pool is, and the current number of entries. If any of them are featured tournaments, they'll appear as larger special tournament tickets. Click the register button to buy in. Every second counts in this game, and the PokerStars 7 Quick Seat lobby is designed to make access to your favorite tournaments and cash games effortless. Welcome back to the final table of the World Championship of Online Poker main event, where 5 players remain. When it was six-handed, they spent 45 minutes crunching the numbers and discussing a deal. A deal was done. After that, we lost 19-86 in 6th place. Leaving us with the 5 players you see on your screen right now. They include the current chip leader, Crown Up Guy, a.k.a. Fedor Holtz, and the Toilet, a.k.a. Faraz Jucker. It's James Hartigan alongside Joe Stapleton, and we have substituted Ike Haxton with another member of Team PokerStars Online. It is tournament beast Mickey Peterson. Welcome, Mickey.
Thank you, thank you.
And Mickey, you must have been watching the deal with great interest to see those negotiations. Anything out of the ordinary from your perspective?
No, not really. But it's always interesting because no two deals are ever alike. And especially in one with this where people are very stubborn and, are sticking to it. And like I was talking about, it's a whole mental game. I actually find it really interesting, even though it takes a long time.
And just to recap the numbers, the chip leader Crown Up guy took 1.1 million, so he's the only player guaranteed to walk away with a seven-figure score. Should point out, by the way, there's still 200k up for grabs to the winner, $200,000 in play, plus the title and bracelet. But Crown Up guy guaranteed 1.1 million. Faraz Jack of the Toilet gets 945k. Crazy Elliot 780k. The Nerd guy 708,000. Neckbreak 651,000, and Dan walked away with 770,000, near enough. But yeah, obviously a lot to play for still, both financially and in terms of prestige. This is a big title, right? I mean, this is something that you're going to have on your poker CV for forever.
I think for most people would say this is the biggest title of the year in terms of online poker. And one of the biggest titles, period. There's only a few live tournaments that can even get up there. So yeah, I would say so. I'm sure they all really want the title too. And they're still playing for a lot of money, even though they made a deal.
I mean, they're still playing for what would be first place money in other very huge tournaments and other large tournaments. 200K is like still an excellent first place prize.
Yeah, exactly. They're basically playing for like first place in a Sunday Million or something like that. So there's still a lot of money up for grabs.
It's interesting because when people see a deal is done, they kind of expect the tournament to come to like a swift conclusion. LK asks on Twitter, how long do you guys expect this thing to run? I feel like it's going to start flying by after the next bust out. What's your read on it, Mickey? You know online MTTs better than most.
Sure. I mean, I will say that the tournament plays out differently if it's like if we could play out this tournament like 2 universes, one where there was a deal and one there was not a deal.
Yeah.
People will play a lot looser just because they have that money locked up, and the difference now is like you have to win the tournament. So people will bust faster here. But that also means they'll have more chips once 2 people get heads up. So I'm not really sure if it'll take longer or if it's going to go faster. It could really go either way. But we're definitely going to see people play a bit looser than if there was no deal. That's for sure.
One thing that I didn't ask when Ike was in the booth, and maybe you've got a theory on this as well, Mickey, do we ever see another deal done down the line? Say, for example, 2 players get heads up with pretty equal stacks. Would they then carve up any more? I mean, they can't really, can they?
I'm actually not 100% sure on what the rules for this tournament is with regards to that. If they're allowed to, I wouldn't be surprised. Because remember, when 2 people are heads up, they're essentially playing like a heads up sit and go for 200,000. And that's a lot of money, or it's like playing 100,000 heads up sit and go against the other person. And my guess is most of these people, if they had the option and they saw the other person sitting in the lobby in 100,000 sit and go, probably wouldn't register it. That's the way I try to think about it. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that at all.
So it's not really that crazy for someone like you, or maybe Ike Haxton was telling us yesterday that he plays 5K heads up sit and goes. So it's not that uncommon for him to be wagering 100,000 or 200,000, but he would do it over the course of like a couple dozen sit and goes rather than just one.
Yeah, exactly. This is like just one bad run of cards or one setup or something. Playing a difference of 200,000, that's a lot, even for these guys. Even for Ike, that's a lot of money.
What do you think the biggest edge that you can have in a heads up sit and go is?
That's a good question. You really have to ask someone like Ike about this. I think this is so deep. It's kind of more like a cash game, and I do think you can have a big edge. But between these guys, where everyone here is someone I've played a lot with and who's very experienced, I mean, the edges are not as big as they would be otherwise. That's for sure.
So it's even more reason why, if you could carve up more of it, that you should.
Yeah, I would guess so.
So right now we're at the 80-160 blind level with a 20k ante. Crown Up guy with the chip lead. Everyone else relatively even in chips, all around the 6-7 million mark. And if you look on the screen right now, you will see a recap of the agreed payouts after the deal was done. And confirmation, by the way, from Brian Slick, who was a guest earlier on, secondary deals not allowed. So the numbers they've locked up, sorted. 200,000 still in play for the winner, sorted. No further negotiating can take place. They're going to play this out to its conclusion now. We've asked everyone else who's been a guest so far, Mickey, how Wcoop has gone for them.
Yeah, Wcoop has actually been okay, but it's not the Wcoop tournaments themselves. I did sort of okay, had some runs, but no final tables or anything too interesting, and then had some pretty good results in all the other tournaments that we're running alongside, and which are much, much bigger during Wcoop because everyone's online and playing. So it actually ended up being okay, despite not winning a Wcoop this year either.
So once again, similar answer to Ike Haxon and Jason Mercer. It's the side action where you've made your profit, but interestingly, whereas they've been focused on the side action cash games...
I'm sure they've been playing the cash games, where I have still been in the tournaments, because that's really all I do.
You are the MTT guy, right?
Yeah, I guess I am. But even the tournaments have been much, much bigger, all the rest of them, and there's been a lot of, satellites to the main event I've grinded and all that kind of thing. And all of those things have been going really well. So
brag a little. What scores have you had this week? What deep runs have you made? Or not this week, but the last couple weeks.
Sure. I mean, I guess I had a pretty good Sunday. Besides busting the main event, I managed to win 6 seats for it. Yeah. I mean, you have to remember there's a lot of buy-ins too, but it's pretty good. And a seat for Isle of Man, which I'm going to, for PCA, which I'm going to, and I chopped the 55 rebuy. So that was like a good Sunday for sure.
So you're a professional poker player and you're playing satellites. Now, who is sitting in these satellites with you? Is it a bunch of other regular satellite pros, or are there, is there regular folks like me in there too?
There are definitely some Joe Stapletons in there too. It's a weird mix. You'll have people who are satellite specialists. You'll have people that you usually see playing like super high rollers and that kind of thing on TV, and guys like me who mainly play tournaments, and then some Stapletons who got in a bit cheaper, who are taking a shot, trying to get their way into the main event. It's like it's a healthy mix of everything.
I love this, by the way. We should make this a thing, because no one's ever sure what to call that guy, right? Some people call them recreational players. Other people use more derogatory terms. I love the idea of calling these players Stapletons.
I thought we were going to try to stay away from derogatory terms.
Many people, I'm sure, would wear it as a badge of honor.
James, can we take a second to sort of reset the scene here a little bit as we address Vince's tweet? Vince is tweeting in a caption for the contest, and it says, "We never commentate on the action, so we might as well work out, right?" And I feel like Vince's tweet is a not so thinly veiled accusation at us. Vince, there's a reason why we're not doing too much commentary on the action here.
Well, there's a couple of things. I mean, trying to do play-by-play of an online tournament is basically impossible because the action goes so fast. But also, you guys are watching the screen. You're either watching the live stream that we're putting out, or you've got your one eye on the client and are just listening to us as an audio show. Point being, you can follow what's happening, right? We'll pay attention to big hands, big pots, big double-ups and eliminations. But the reason why we can't get Ike and Mickey to go into great detail about these hands, in the same way that we couldn't really provide any kind of commentary of the deal negotiations, is that the players at this final table are watching this in real time. We can't say anything that could potentially influence the action. Just a simple observation that Mickey might make that one of the players at the table hasn't made could actually change the way they play the game. And we don't want to do that. We're here to hopefully entertain you guys and provide something for you to consume with your ears while watching this action with your eyes. And you also use your fingers, because we do want you to tweet. We want questions. Use the hashtag Wcoop on Twitter. And we want your caption suggestions as well. We've got a caption contest running at the moment. Did you see the photo, Mickey?
I did see the photo, yeah. It's something else.
It is something else.
We had a good time shooting it.
This is team Team Wcoop preparing for today's webcast. And if you've got an amusing caption, do send it in. Use that hashtag Wcoop on Twitter. And a bit later on, Ike's going to pick his favourite caption. Mickey's going to pick his favourite caption. Chances are you'll pick the same one and have to arm wrestle for who gets it. And
I'm looking forward to that.
Those two people that you pick, the two finalists, will go through to an on-the-air competition with prizes up for grabs. So chances to win prizes over the course of this show. And more guests to come, hopefully. Within the next 30 minutes, we will speak to one of your Team Online colleagues, Mr. Lex Veldhaus. And a bit later on, possibly, bearing in mind that he is the official host for this final table, Jake Cody, who had a deep run in this tournament, finishing the top 100. The second best performing member of Team PokerStars Pro, Andre Akari, went deepest, finishing 16th, so near bubbled the final table in the early hours of this morning.
How about that Jake Cody, huh? He can do it all. Plays poker. He's a dad. He's helping deal negotiations.
He can do everything and change nappies at the same time, as suggested by some of the players at the table. Something we often talk about, Mickey, when we're following the live final tables is the fatigue factor. I mean, this has been a 2-day event, obviously slightly different to like a 5-day live MTT. But bearing in mind, this is coming at the end of a 3-week festival where I imagine most of these guys have been playing most events. And yet they're playing here in probably the biggest of all of them for the biggest sums of money up for grabs. It's got to be a thing, right? I mean, they started playing, about 12 hours ago today? And now they're at the kind of business end of the tournament. And, you're trying to stay focused has got to be tough.
It is tough, no doubt about it. But I mean, I can only tell from me personally, if you're this deep in a tournament this big, there's so much adrenaline going on. And the online poker moves so much faster than if you're playing at a live final table, which is kind of to your advantage if you're tired. That I feel like most of these guys are still going to be able to bring, if not their A game, certainly their B game. But no doubt about that, like it being the end of Wcoop and people have been playing for weeks and weeks, and that it's a really long tournament over 2 days, definitely matters.
Mickey, I've never lasted in any poker tournament longer than 4 hours, so it's never been a problem for me. But what do you eat when you've got 5 minutes? These guys have been playing for 12 hours. They got 5 minutes every hour. What do you do?
Sure. I mean, I don't know what these guys do, but...
Yeah, what do you specifically do?
What I like to do is just... well, first of all, you should prepare everything. You should lay out the plan before you start playing, because otherwise you just end up falling into like a take out pizza trap.
This guy just said plan. This guy said a poker player should plan something.
But other than that, just things that are really fast to make. Also, fruit's really good. I've talked about my apple slicer and how awesome it is before.
Yes.
Protein bars, like they're just nuts, like things you can quickly take in, quickly prepare. I think are the key.
You should be on commission, by the way, Mickey. When you mention an apple slicer on
That's
EP2
so
Live,
amazing.
You've no idea how many people over the course of the next 48 hours went onto various internet shopping sites and bought themselves apple slicers.
I just want to let people know that you can bite directly into an apple. It's perfectly safe.
But why would you?
We did have a hand that went to the turn. Neck break was all in on the turn. Did not get called.
That was a hand that was 3-bet by Faraz Jack at pre-flop, and he continued the flop. So Faraz now the shortest stack at the final table with 4.1 million.
I hope Brian Slick is still listening because no one has heeded my advice on this. Mickey Peterson, what do you think next year during the Wcoop? Just a little icon in the corner. You just click it. One-click pizza ordering. Right in the client. Why isn't this a thing yet?
Oh, that's perfect. I'm totally into it. And you can use your FPPs to buy it.
Absolutely.
For extra toppings, depending on, if you're a Supernova or Gold Star or whatever you are.
Exactly. You can get like a free upgrade.
Yeah.
Supernova
This
League.
needs to happen.
You get free Supreme or deep dish.
Well,
you can have a pepperoni spade on it.
Look, I know for a fact that Brian is definitely watching and listening. I'm sure he's ignoring you, but that's not the point. Because Brian is actually providing us with some interesting facts, and I don't want you to look at Joe's screen, Mickey, because I'm going to run a little quiz here.
All right.
Can I play too? Because I don't have it. I don't have the answers up.
Okay, but you've seen some of this information already.
I never get to play.
145 countries participated in this year's World Championship of Online Poker. So the top 5 countries by participation. No, not one of the top 5. You don't have to get them in order, Mickey, but how many of the top 5 countries by participation
are on
can
planet
you get?
Earth? Oh, sorry. I should let you finish.
Oh, man. This is, well, okay. I'll try. Why not? Russia?
The Russian Federation is on the list. It's number 2, in fact.
Yeah. Canada?
Number 1.
Oh,
All right.
one of the good ones.
By the way, very close. Canada, 14,307 players. The Russian Federation, 14,293. Canada just pips Russia.
Brazil.
Brazil is number 5.
That's the one I missed.
So 2 in the middle, squeezed between the Russian Federation and Brazil.
That's the hardest one to get, though. Number 5, I think.
United Kingdom
is number 3 with 12,324 participants, leaving one country. The number 4 spot needs to be filled.
Argentina.
Joe, care to guess?
Germany.
Germany is indeed number 4 on the list.
Of course. 4 out of 5 is pretty good, though. I'll take that.
That's how many Ike got in race situations, which we're going to have to do with you.
Okay, Joe, here's your question then.
Yep, okay.
Because I know you want to play. You want to participate.
I want in. We do have an all-in.
Crazy Elliot.
We're allowed to say that, right? That there's an all-in?
You can say that there's an all-in. That is a fact. But no call. 9 countries had 1 player in the Wcoop.
Yes.
That's 1 player from
yep.
each. Name 3 of those countries.
Japan?
Not on the list.
Why don't me and Mickey play against each other? We each take turns guessing, and then whoever gets more.
Fair enough.
Neverland?
Not a real country.
Hold on, I got one. Mypos.
No.
Where's that?
It's a fictional country from the television sitcom Perfect Strangers.
These are actually genuine
real
countries, not the random things that people write as their location.
Since Mickey said Neverland, I just thought I would follow up with another fake country.
Okay, so you just had to throw away one of your guesses as well.
Yeah.
Mickey, it's your go.
Turk and chaos?
Nope.
They have way more than one, yeah.
Sudan.
Nope.
South Sudan. Oh, wait.
Do you know what? I'm changing the rules. If you can name one,
you win.
Then you win.
It's a sudden death already.
It's sudden death already.
Now I wish I hadn't thrown that guess away. Stupid.
1.
Come on, Mickey. You can do this.
Bermuda?
Bermuda is not one of the 9.
Yes. Okay. I get. Uh-oh. Here we go. We got it all in a call.
And that will see Faraz double up through neck break, queens and 3s, beating flopped 7s and 6s.
Counterfeit on the turn, yeah.
Yeah. So things turn around. Faraz back up over 8 million. Neck break down to 5.7 million.
All right, here we go. I'm gonna take a wild stab here and say Andorra.
Not on the list. By the way, a stat from Brian. Japan, I believe, was someone's first guess.
That was my first guess, yeah.
33rd on the list with 694 players.
Oh, that's way more than one.
South Korea?
South Korea is not one of them. Come on, it's sudden death. First person to guess one. Do you want me to give you a continent?
Sure.
Okay, I'll give you a continent. Europe. There is a place in Europe which had 1 player.
Moldova.
Nope. Think really, really small.
The Vatican? Nah.
Right part of Europe, but wrong country.
What do you mean right part of Europe? Like the Europe part?
No, that area and that surrounding country. Wow.
Well, I mean, I know that Italy is one of the weaker poker markets, but I assume more than one player from Italy play. Well, you can't actually. It's regulated, so you can't play from Italy.
So where would you go? You might cross the border into...
Monaco?
No.
No.
Now we're getting colder.
Okay, you might cross the border, so you go the other way. You might cross the border into Switzerland?
No.
Oh, here we go. We have a map now. Thanks, guys. This is getting brutal.
Oh, that's not going to help me at all.
It is marked on the map.
Liège? What is
I
it?
can
Is that a
confirm
country?
it's marked on the map.
What is that? That's made up.
Oh, Liechtenstein? No.
Guys, at what point did you not understand that Italy is the clue? It's on the map. It's
San Marino?
Thank you. Finally. You have to put the words in front of him in order for him to say it.
I can read the word San Marino, everyone.
Well done. And by reading words off a screen, Joe Stapleton wins the internet. Round of applause, everyone.
Yay.
That was a close one.
Wow.
Well, good game, sir.
Yeah.
Which one of us can read words faster?
Next time you ask to participate in a competition, I'm overruling you. Let's make this a Team Online doubleheader. Let's bring in Lex Veldhouse to join the booth. Hello, Lex.
Hi, guys. How you doing?
Good, thank you. Last we heard from you, you were watching Suits, and you liked it.
Yeah, I loved it. It's actually the first episode that I watched, which is crazy, but yeah.
Well, that's good, because I'm coming to the end of my Shield marathon. I'm looking for a new show to get into, so I might take your recommendation.
Yeah, Vikings pretty cool too.
I heard that Vikings was just a show that they made out of all the leftover stuff from Game of Thrones.
What? No, but Vikings actually, that's a true story. Like, all the names are real. It's really all the Vikings, all the pioneers and stuff. So that's really
so
cool.
you like learn stuff?
Yeah.
Boring.
Does that turn you off?
Yeah. Oh, gross.
Yeah.
Where are you in the world right now?
It's like almost reading.
I'm in Toronto right now.
Oh.
So I always like to be here, especially during Wcoop and stuff, because then get to play during the day, spend some time with my girlfriend on the side. So
nice life.
Yeah.
Just got a potential big pot here at this final table. Opened by the toilet, 3-bet by Crown Up guy, and then a 4-bet from the nerd guy from the big blind. Faraz with the decision. And that is a 5-bet from the toilet. Folded by Crown Up guy. All in and a call. 10s against 9s. Faraz dominated. Does not hit, and that sees the elimination of Faraz Jaka in 5th place.
Smell you later, toilet.
Although, of course, the toilet got a decent score from the 6-way deal that was negotiated, close to $1 million, $945,000, and the nerd guy takes the chip lead at this 4-handed final table with a stack of $22.1 million.
No, that is a nice life.
Were you railing the final table at all when the deal was going on, Lex? Did you see the negotiations? Did you see the numbers?
No, what did he do?
Faraz was pushing for close to $1 million, but I think he'll be happy with $945K for a 5th place finish that would otherwise have paid less than half that amount.
Wow, yeah, that's pretty crazy. I opened the final table. I wanted to see if Isildur was still in, and I opened the table and I saw that the guy who busted in 6th after deal got $750K. I was like, wow.
Yes.
That's crazy. What a crazy event.
So far, the deal has worked out very well for 19Dan86 and for the toilet. Isildur won. Victor Blom went out in 9th place, by the way. They actually hit the final table just before 5 a.m. this morning, and we came on air when there were 7 players. So we didn't get to see any of Victor, which probably affected our viewership by a significant number. The internet gets very excited when Victor's playing.
Of course.
But yes, no, obviously a deep run for him and a great result. Any great results for you over the course of the last 3 weeks?
Well, not so much in tournaments, but I've been actually crushing cash games for the past 2 months, so it's not too bad. I'm pretty happy.
I feel like this is like the new, like when you go to Vegas and your friends are like, how'd you do? And you're like, I broke even. Like, I feel like this is like the new story. It's like, well, the tournaments weren't so good, but cash games, I did all right. It's like the new I broke even.
No, it's not. It wasn't break even. It was actually really good.
It does all sound like you're all working from a script, though. This seems to be the standard response that everyone's giving. And I guess it didn't really occur to you that obviously with more traffic coming on the site for the Wcoop, that means there's going to be more action in the cash games.
Yeah, it's also actually, for me, it has to be really good if I say that it was good, because I don't generally, if I'm even or winning a little bit, I always tell people I'm losing.
Oh.
Just because I don't really care, if they think of me as a winning player, and then I'd rather them think of me as a sucker.
Fair.
So I think for 5 years, it's a little bit different when you're sponsored, obviously, but I think before my PokerStars deal, I don't think I've ever told anybody like I've been doing really well, I've been winning a lot. I would always say like, screw poker, I'm losing, stuff like that.
Oh, I'm the worst ever. I'm on Stone Tilt. Does anyone want to play me for huge stakes right now? Because I'm just the worst and tilting super bad.
I mean, it worked. Like, People always thought that. So
Lex, what's going on right now? I see you tweeting a lot about doing some podcast or something. What's up with that?
what do you mean?
Are you doing a podcast?
Oh no! It was just there were some friends of mine who run a PLO podcast, and I've been on there a few times, and I was just hanging out there too. So that's all.
Lex, have you had a poker renaissance? Are you reinvigorated with poker?
Yeah, actually completely. Like I don't know. The way I played in August, I looked at my database, and on average I played over the whole 31 days. I played I think 13.5 hours a day.
Okay, I mean you would hopefully be in love with something that you're doing for 13 hours a day.
Yeah, it's so automatic too, you know, and I really miss that feeling. Like I think it's been years since I've had it that bad. Like there's been periods when I really loved playing PLO and stuff, but this is, you know, I'm eating breakfast behind the computer and I'm going to bed going through my database kind of every day. So it was really good to feel that again. And I'm taking it a bit more easy in Canada. That's why when I'm in Holland I usually play a lot. And then here I get to do some more normal stuff and spend time with Evelyn and stuff like that.
I wish I loved anything as much as you apparently love poker. And you know what? I wish that anything loved me that much would actually be more accurate.
Aww.
Lex, this podcast that you're on, is it a rule that you can't wear sleeves? What's up with this guy? He's like sun's out, guns out.
Yeah, they're tank top fanatics. I don't know, it's a little too North American for me, that part, but you know, they're good people, so I accept their flaws.
It seems like a fun show. Has it been fun going on there?
Yeah, definitely. It's just, you know what the cool thing is, just PLO I really feel is like the coolest thing in poker right now. So for me, that if I would only have to play Hold'em right now, I think my prospect in poker would look very grim, just because I think it's pretty boring. So just playing PLO is, I don't know, it's so amazing to me, and the game is so complicated and deep, and it's incredible. And they're just producing a lot of PLO content, which is, you know, popular in the PLO community. And because everybody's so excited talking about it, it kind of rubs off on people who play different forms of poker, because it's just cool to hear people talk about poker in such an excited way.
Like, I'm always fascinated by the insights into your life that we get via social media. For example, your appreciation of the TV show Suits. Yesterday, you seemed particularly angry with a major software giant. You actually suggested that they should die in grease fire. What happened? Did something crash? Did something fail to reboot?
No, it's too stupid. Like I can say it, right? Whatever.
I think you can say it. You can say whatever you want, homie.
Yeah, Microsoft. Like, what's wrong with these people? Okay, so you know, I log into the Xbox site because I want to upgrade my subscription, because it doesn't work. It didn't work on the Xbox, so I have to put in your username, your email, your username, and your password, and I do that, and then they ask me a security question, which I know the answer to. Then they want to send me a confirmation that it was really me to my backup email, which I haven't used in 8 years. It doesn't exist anymore. And because I couldn't open that email, they banned me logging into my account for 30 days. And then I tried to do it over the console again, and then they also permanently banned the credit card that was registered to my account. So I was pretty much locked out for a month.
And what's amazing,
even though I had all the information.
And what's amazing is they know right now that you're slacking them off, because they're making your Skype connection die. That's how clever they are, and that's the hook that they actually have over you.
I love the fact that all of this rage just centers around the fact that you can't play FIFA.
That's the worst. It just came out. You know, you need to. Oh, they're craving the FIFA craving. Everybody knows it. You know, the Ultimate Team. Gotta play it. I don't know.
Could you not just create
on football, right, Joe?
What's that?
You know. Oh wait, James. You're the hand egg fanatic.
Yeah, I'm the one who likes the American game.
Ah, okay, yeah.
I don't like any sports, Lex. It's not just soccer.
All right, no kidding.
But I do like video games. It's really troubling for me, because I'm like, I would really love to play video games, but sports, yuck.
Yeah, you had a cool trivia for me once on video games. Remember that? It was also during a radio show.
Was it? It was just like a bunch of old school video game trivia, right?
Yeah, you just gave me a line from every movie, or from a lot of different classic video games, and I had to guess the video game.
All your base are belong to us.
Yeah, stuff like that.
No one can ever remember what game that's actually from. Someone on Twitter will get it.
Yeah.
So what's good right now? What's good gaming-wise other than FIFA? Is there anything non-sports gamey that you're playing that I can sink my teeth into?
Yeah, I play a ridiculous amount of Dota. I think if I transfer all my hours that I play in Dota, I could have become Supernova Elite twice.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so Dota is really fun. You know, I just play with friends. Some of them play poker, some of them don't. And it's kind of a 5 against 5 game where you just each pick a character and you just fight other people. It's just you know, grinding the nerdness.
I'm going to put on my poker journalist hat for a second and say, Lex, what similarities are there between poker and Dota?
Well, I always like games that you play against somebody where you have to estimate what your opponent is going to do. That's what I love about poker too, you know. That's why, I don't know, that's what I love about poker is the game flow. That's why I like live so much, because you get so much information about how somebody feels emotionally about what you're doing. And, you know, that's when you can make hero calls or really sick bluffs or really big laydowns and stuff like that. So as long as a game you play against a person and you have to predict what they're going to do and you can be one step ahead of them and then gloat in that, that's amazing. Preferably if you can even trash talk while you're doing it.
Is there good trash talk on Dota?
Well, it's kind of simple. It's mostly just, I don't know, there's a lot of Russians playing, so I know a lot of Russian curse words. But, I'll spare you those. But there's a lot of trash talk. It's not, you know, it's not as fun as poker needling, though. I've been playing a lot of live lately, too, and just banter live is the best thing ever in poker. When people, I don't know, kind of like, you know, when you rub it in, when you bluff somebody, or there's this guy at the game, and it's hilarious. Every time he bluffs me, and he's just silent like a rock, and he sits there, and then I fold, and then he goes, buddy, oh my god, you're world champion, buddy. And then he opens up some 9 high, no draw, nothing hand.
And you show him 8 high?
No, it's just, you know, sometimes you just gotta take it into.
Meanwhile, we have lost another player from the final table. Crazy Elior exiting in 4th place, gets it in with ace-jack against king-queen. Crown-up guy with 2 pair on the turn eliminates Elior, who, courtesy of that deal, walks away with the better part of $780,000, more than $780,000. Lex, thank you very much for your time. Thanks for joining us in the early hours of this Tuesday morning. We do appreciate it.
No problem. Always good to speak to you guys.
When are we next going to see you, by the way? Are you going to be on the live circuit again anytime soon?
Well, I'm actually enjoying the online grind so much. I think my next one, or I'm pretty sure that my next one will be the PCA.
Okay. Well, we'll see you in the Bahamas in January. Look forward to it.
All right.
Take care, Lex. Thanks
See you
very
then.
much.
Me too. All right. You too. Bye.
Lex Veldhouse from Team PokerStars Online as we go three-handed now. So let's just review the stacks. Crown-up guy having eliminated Crazy Eliot, playing close to 14 million. The nerd guy still the chip leader with nearly 22 million. And Neckbreak, the shortest stack, with 6.3 million. Blinds, what are they at the moment? 100, 200 with a 25k ante, going up shortly to 125, 250 with a 31,250 ante. I love online blind levels and the random numbers that they generate. Mickey, we have got this caption competition running in the background. We saw the photo earlier on, and anyone who hasn't seen it should search hashtag Wcoop on Twitter or follow at EPT Live. And you know the deal. You're going to have to select your favourite caption. We'd like to select his as well. We've been shortlisting a few. Here's Moises' suggestion. We chop, we lift, and stare you down until all your chips are in our bloody fists. Okay.
All right.
And then we have this simple one. Revenge of the Poker Nerds.
It is. Agreed. Story checks out. Simple.
So I'm getting the impression that Mickey's sentiment is going to be pretty similar to Ike's, which is you can do better.
I'd like to. I know it's early, but I'd like to hear a few more. Yeah.
How about this one from Dakota? 365 days till next year's Wcoop. Like the training has begun. Okay. No.
You know, I mean, it's a factual statement. Sort of.
There was a legit question for Mickey that came in. It says, Mickey, hold on. To find it. I don't want to get it wrong. It was Daniel Smith who wants to know what percentage of the buy-in do you use for satellites, and how do you choose which ones to play?
What percentage?
I think he might mean of your bankroll.
Right. Well, I mean, I'm fortunate enough to where the satellites I play for tournaments I'm going to play anyways, and so that doesn't really factor in for me. As for a bankroll rule, it's a good question. I'd say, well, I guess the main thing people have to think about is if you end up playing too many satellites for too much of your bankroll, even if you do qualify into a tournament, you still have to cash that tournament to actually get a return. So it's not as simple as using the same bankroll for a normal tournament and for a satellite. Like, because the times where you do win the satellite seed, you still have to cash in that tournament before you get a return, as opposed to when you're just playing a normal tournament. So I guess that's a bad answer, but is to, if there's a tournament you really want to play, certainly go and look out for the best satellites, but don't make a habit of playing satellites all the time if you want to grow your bankroll steadily too. On the other hand, if you're willing to take more shots, and then by all means try and satellite into events.
And so you recommend also actually playing the events?
Well, I guess some satellites you will have to play the events and some you won't. And there are certainly people who play satellites and don't even intend to play the targeted event. So there are multiple ways you can do it. It just depends how much you enjoy playing satellites too, because they're often very different from normal tournament poker. And from anything else for that matter.
What are some of those differences?
Well,
Can you elaborate?
Yeah, sure. The difference is that in a tournament, ultimately you want to end up with all the chips. Whereas in a satellite, if there's multiple seats, it doesn't really matter. If there's 2 seats, it doesn't really matter if you end with 1 chip or if you end with, 99% of the chips. You're going to get the same whether you get first or second.
So the whole playing to win thing is
exactly
way different.
Yeah. So the goal is more survival than winning, I suppose. Where in tournaments, you want to get that big first prize.
Well, that certainly makes sense. James, can we go back to the countries with one player? I want to try to guess more of those.
Okay, well, we've got another round of that competition, actually, and it's just that we let Mickey play this one because you failed so epically on the last round.
We both failed equally, and in fact, who actually got San Marino once it was pointed out on a map to him in plain English? Me.
It's a fair point. By the way, the fact-check team would like to point out that there are 340 days to go until event number 1 of the 2015
Nothing gets by those guys, huh?
World Championship of Online Poker. So specifically, the main event, this tournament that we're watching play out in front of us right now, 18 countries with only 1 player in the tournament. 84 countries represented in the Wcoop main event, but there are 18 countries with only 1 player. And you're looking at the list, Joe, so you can't play the game.
I'm looking at the list with my mouth agape because my first answer was Andorra. And what is the number 1 country at the top of this list, you goon? Andorra.
What?
That was my first guess.
No.
This is a different...
This is a different question, you fool, and a different list.
I meant I'm a goon.
Yes. So specifically, the main event, the list of which Joe has now seen. So, Mickey, you're on your own.
I'm playing against myself.
And you cannot answer Andorra because Joe's given away that answer.
I still think I'm going to lose.
I think, you know what? Just go back to some of your earlier answers because some of them might be relevant for the specific tournament, okay? So you got 18. I think you should be able to get 3 of them, okay?
All right.
3 of 18.
South Korea?
Is not on the list.
North Korea?
Definitely not on the list.
What? Angora?
Is not on the list.
Not a country.
Somewhere you said
Angora. That's only one player in the Wcoop main event is wearing this type of sweater. Angora, correct.
I don't remember any of the countries from before. Isle of Man.
You said somewhere which is synonymous with a triangle.
Bermuda.
Bermuda is one. There you go.
Boom. There we go. Bahamas.
Bahamas is another one. So you got 2.
Come on, Pretty Mama.
Monaco? No, that would be more than one for sure.
Monaco is not on the list. The tension here is almost bearable.
I'm going to give him a hint. This was a really terrible follow-up to Jurassic Park. Like, everyone was real hot on this author to make all of his movies into books. Or books into movies, rather.
Am I the only person who's like thinking of Jurassic Park 2?
Yeah, that's where I thought
Not
you were
that.
going.
Ah, yes. So it's another Michael Crichton work, is what you're saying.
Yes. And it's not Sphere or the Andromeda Strain.
Or Westworld.
I don't know, guys. I'm drawing blank here.
Where do they drink umbongo?
I think that's a harder question than what,
yeah,
what country
This
has only
keeps
one
getting
player.
harder and harder and harder the more clues I got.
Okay,
this is not how it's supposed to work.
Okay. Let's pick somewhere else then.
Here we go. A man, a plan, a canal. It's a palindrome, but I'm leaving the last word out. So you can figure it out if you know what palindrome means.
I think canal is the big clue.
It is a bigger clue than palindrome. Mickey's like, I'm an online poker genius, and I just win millions of dollars clicking buttons. Like, I don't really know.
Geography is definitely by far the things I'm the worst at. All right, I need to know. I give up. You win.
A man, a plan, a canal, Panama. You know what? I probably should have. You know what I should have done? I made a Van Halen reference. He would have got it if I'd referenced the Van Halen song, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Snap got it. Yeah.
And the Michael Crichton novel is Congo.
Congo.
And that's where they drink umbongo. Any others? Come on, Mickey, you can do it. You got 2. You need 1 more.
1 more, and I'm good.
Yeah. You mentioned earlier on Isle of Man. Somewhere else in Europe that is synonymous with online gaming.
Malta? No,
nope, the other one.
What's the other one?
There's a big rock and lots of monkeys. That's a good clue. Don't laugh in my face.
Look, I'm going to show you where it is on the map. It's not on there.
Scroll.
Can we go move a little west?
Yep.
And a little south. It's like right in there somewhere. A little beep, boop, little bloop, 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 right in there.
I don't know what that is.
Okay, that was Gibraltar, so we're skipping that one.
You know what, let's let Mickey out of the hot seat. Mickey, how about you just play race situations instead?
Oh, I'd
how
love
about
to play
okay?
that. Anything, yes.
Let's just
do
do race situations because we got to see how he fares compared to Ike. We're gonna have these guys in shifts, by the way. So after the next break, Ike will be back in. Mickey, next time you're in, I've actually got something planned for you that's better than this.
All right.
Yeah. So, but we don't have time to do it right now because I'm going to need the full segment to do this with you. But for now, we're going to play race situations with Mickey. Do you know how the game is played? Have we played before?
No, this will be our first time playing it.
But you are aware of how it works? Should I go over? I'll go over the rules.
I think you should go over it once.
Race situations, obviously, in poker, you've got a pair versus 2 overcards. One of them has a slight mathematical advantage. What I've done is I've taken real-life race situations. You have to tell me which one is the pair, which one has the slight mathematical advantage.
Gotcha.
Okay? Here we go. Billiards versus bowling.
Bowling.
Correct. Easy. Didn't even have to talk it out. Tequila versus Jaeger.
Tequila.
Correct.
I'm loving the snap call, by the way. This is an online poker player. Instant decisions. Come on.
This I can do, yeah.
Fist bumping versus a high five.
Fist bump.
Incorrect.
Yeah, it's a generational thing.
Incorrect. Oh, man. Okay, that's your one that you missed. If you miss one more, that means Ike is better than you at race situations.
Okay.
Finding a $20 bill in your pocket versus waking up and realizing you don't have to go to work that day.
Waking up and realizing you don't have to go to work.
Correct. Last one here. Lighting a match versus a courtesy flush.
Lighting a match.
Lighting a match. Incorrect.
God damn it.
Courtesy flush. You gotta hit that as soon as trouble hits the water. You've just gotta send it to hell. Anyway, 3 out of 5, not bad for race situation. Still better than 50-50. So you're flipping pretty good at this point.
All right, I'll take it.
I will say there was a hidden domination in there, an ace king versus an ace queen, but I don't think you're going to get it. It was the high five versus the fist bump. That's a domination situation. There you go. Meatloaf. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Mickles.
Or in this case, 3 out of 5. No, it's not being, it can't feel too bad to finish second to Ike Haxton, right?
No, I mean, I'll take it.
Yeah, in a game where 2 people competed.
Yeah, doing that well against Ike, heads up. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's better than most people do.
Just to take an overview of this final table, there's been some significant movement in the stacks, by the way, and Crown Up Guy is now the low man with 3.7 million. Blinds at 100, 200. Nerd Guy's still the chip leader, and he's extended that chip lead, and we have an all-in here from Crown Up Guy after neck break opened on the button. Nerd Guy has folded the big blinds. Action back on neck break.
Time is running out.
Neck break's already used up most of his time bank already. And obviously they will be coming to the next tournament break in the next 5 minutes or so, and we'll take a break as well. Hopefully during the next hour or so, we'll catch up with Jake Cody from Team PokerStars Pro. Jake also fulfilling his role at this final table as official host, as Neckbreak shoves on Crown Up Guy there.
James, Joe tweets in to say, can we stop playing this terrible guessing game? Guess what, Joe? We're now going to play it till we get to every single country on this list. So, go ahead, Mickey. It starts with an A. He's just shaking his head no. He doesn't want to do it.
Enough
It's
is enough.
We'll
yeah.
just sit here in silence then until the next break.
So we talked to Ike about his schedule for the next few weeks now that Wcoop is concluding. Mickey, are you heading to Isle of Man for UK IPT?
Yeah, I'm heading there in just 2 days, actually. And I was there last year and had a blast, so decided I wanted to go back this time.
Yeah, plenty of people coming to the home of PokerStars for that event, which kicks off in the next couple of days. And a reminder that you can watch the last 2 days of that tournament at PokerStars.tv, live streaming of the penultimate day on Sunday and the final table on Monday. And then a week later, EPT London. And I can imagine you'll be back in the UK for that one.
Yeah, absolutely. I live there, so that's an obvious choice. And always really fun to play EPTs, so really looking forward to that.
Looking to become the first man to win 2 EPT titles.
Yeah, absolutely. I would take that.
How do you feel right now, Mickey, that you were sort of the originator? That's not a
Originator?
word. It was a combination. I Morlocked the words original and originator for originator. You were the original final table brutal marathon winner.
Yeah, that's true. I was the first one to do the long one, and then everyone saw how cool it was.
Exactly. Now everyone else is doing it. How do you feel about that? That everyone's just copying you?
I mean, I can't say I blame them, but I'm definitely looking forward to getting heads up again and showing them how it's really done.
So you're saying that if you had it to do over again, you would give us like a 48-hour final table?
I would definitely add some stalling in there. Yeah, I just didn't have that in my program back then, but.
That's the thing. You know how we talk about movies like when, like Jaws, if you adjust it for like real present day inflation, how much more money it made, or Star Wars or whatever. If we take Mickey's final table and adjust it for present day tanking time, it would have been a week. Like someone would have died of like starvation or just exposure to the elements.
That's probably true. People do tend to take a long time.
I would say that I don't want to take anything away from you, Mickey, but I'd say that it was a thing that was pretty common in Copenhagen, the event that you won, even in the years before your victory, that those final tables, particularly the heads-up battle, went on a bit.
There's something about Copenhagen, that just tends to lead to really long heads-up duels.
But now it's spread beyond Copenhagen, and we are 3 for 3 in epic heads-up battles at televised events so far this year. So I think we're kind of due in London, because that's how it works, right? Statistically, that it definitely happens the next time, that it'll be lightning fast.
Oh yeah,
that's how it works in poker.
That's how math works.
Still seeing some various caption suggestions coming through, and we'll round up a whole bunch more for the next section of the show when we get Ike back in the booth. And a reminder that at some point, Mickey's going to pick his favourite, Ike's going to pick his favourite, and those people are going to go heads up in a contest here on the live stream. So check out the photograph if you haven't seen it already, as we get an all-in and a call here. And it's the flush for Crown Up Guy, so he doubles up through the Nerd Guy. And that evens things out between Crown Up Guy and Neck Break, both on around 10, 11 million. The Nerd Guy's still the chip leader with around 19 million. And we play on three-handed. So, yeah, check out that photo. It was tweeted earlier by @EPTLive. It's tagged #WCoop if you want to find it in the Twitter timeline. And send through your amusing caption. Haratsmu, by the way, points out that Congo is a great movie. Some of Eddie Hudson's best work.
Haratsmu typically has a pretty good sense of humor. He may have made that joke on purpose.
Isn't it Ernie Hudson?
That's what I mean.
Oh, I see.
That's what I mean. Let's address Jay's tweet. Actually, we have a big pop brewing here. Bigger.
Neck Break. The original Razor has folded. Back on Crown Up Guy, who 3-bet from the small blind. And a reminder that all questions and comments are valid. As long as you tag your tweet WCoop, we'll be able to see it on our screens as Crown Up Guy moves all in and gets the fold from the Nerd Guy.
I wanted to address Jay's tweet. He says, hey, aren't you jabronis supposed to be talking about poker? This is worse than David Lee Roth Morning Zoo Radio. 2 Van Halen references in one day, though, so that's pretty good. Jay, we can announce what's actually happening on the screen, but because this is very live and it's very possible for the folks who are involved to be listening to this broadcast, we can't really say anything more than what is exactly happening on the screen because we do not want to influence action at all. And so we can't do commentary per se. We can, and for us to say what's happening on the screen, you can see it just as well as we can. So unless there's something significant happening, we're going to just try to entertain in other ways.
Attempt. Try.
Correct. Attempt.
Hope. These are aspirations.
It just doesn't bode well for the segment coming up next. Mickey Peterson names countries. Just at random. Just name a country, Mickey.
I can probably do like 9.
9? That's
maybe
good.
10.
That's strong. That's strong.
I mean, not now, but if I come back in an hour and have some time to prepare, yeah.
Pam's got a good point. She says, notice how the Nerd Guy Neck Break dealt for the lowest money, but are now the chip leaders three-handed, which won't really mean anything until one of them wins it. Then they'll add to that score.
Yeah, a reminder that when they were six-handed, actually not that long ago, it was only about an hour and a half ago that they did that deal 6 ways. And it's Crown Up Guy who locked up the biggest single sum of money, 1.1 million. The Nerd Guy, he's guaranteed 708,000, and Neck Break 651,000. But there is still 200K in play, 200,000 extra dollars to the winner, and of course that Wcoop main event bracelet, the last bracelet to be awarded this year before we pack the Wcoop back in a box and bring it out for 2015. And of course lots of other festivals. After Wcoop, Mickey, what would you say is your second favourite festival on Stars?
Well, that's easy. That's Scoop.
Okay, after Scoop, we're gonna rank them. Top 5.
You mean when you say Scoop, you mean the Spring Championship of Online Poker?
Yeah, absolutely. I really enjoy T-Coop as well.
Wait. You enjoy the Turbo Championship of Online Poker?
That's right, Joe.
This could well be the last hand before the players go on break. Crown Up Guy against Nerd Guy. Sure enough, break coming. And Crown Up Guy wins the last hand before the break. So 3 players remain. Mickey, you'll be back later on, but Ike Haxon's going to rejoin us when we come back from break and continue to play down to a champion here in the 2015 World Championship of Online Poker main event. Back in 5 minutes' time.
Welcome to my humble abode. It just got renovated about a year ago by my 2 friends, Naomi and Jessica, and I told them to go a little like Austin Powers meets Pee Wee Herman, and I think they did a pretty good job. So this right here is the kitchen, a little funky, futuristic. Over here is the dinner table that we've never actually had dinner at, but I love the lamp because it's just really cool. It's called the Jellyfish lamp. And then over here we've got the functioning bar with a wine cellar. So this is a little poker table. And Game of Thrones, which is obviously a big hit, they sent me this. And this is a box, this House Negrano. You open it up, and it's the soundtrack from the show. And it's like the DVD set. There's even a scroll that comes out of here. It's pretty cool. I don't know, I show people this and they go absolutely bad for it. Over here, we've got this, I guess we can call the game room. This has 8,000 games on it from before the year 2000, right? And you see that tap right here? It's because there's a keg of beer in it. How ridiculous is that? Over here, we've got the trophy area. The 6 World Series bracelets I have over there. A bunch of the trophies from my earlier days. A little display here. When Barack was running against Hillary, he did a celebrity event, and he knew who I was. It was pretty cool. That was him saying, like, look, it's the poker guy. Of course, we got some family pictures up. This was me when I was 18 years old. Right over here was my father at 18 years old. So the good news is I know what I'm going to look like when I'm older, and I'm going to be dead sexy. And then up in here, I used to be a pool player before I played poker, so I figured I'd have to have a pool table. The other side of this is an 88-inch screen that flips all the way around. So if people are playing pool, you can watch over on this side. And there's actually like speakers outside too, or all over the house, depending where the TV's pointing. I don't know how she pulled it off, but my assistant Patty was able to create a garden in Las Vegas where we got bell peppers, arugula. That's actually fresh kale right there. And then you got like a fireplace that's on 2 sides, in and out. Then of course you gotta have a pool. It's Las Vegas. Because I'm a golf freak, I had this designed by the Jack Nicklaus Company. There you go. That's how you do it. It shows you where the landing area is, and then voila, you're right next to the hole.
With PokerStars 7, you can customize just about anything. In the Favorites lobby, you can use filters to create your own personalized lobby of games. You can also save filters to your favorites right from the main lobby. Once you've set up your filters, the next time you open your favorites lobby, you'll only see what you want to see, and you can easily find exactly the game you're looking for. But it doesn't stop there. PokerStars 7 gives you control over your preferred table layout. Pick from any one of your favorites and customize your felt color, background, and card deck. Want to customize even further? Just click on the options in the table appearance menu for even more ways to make your experience of PokerStars unique. Decide how you want to look to the other players by choosing a player image from hundreds of choices, or upload your own custom image to use on all PokerStars tables. Every poker player is unique, and PokerStars 7 has been designed to make your experience totally custom made. Welcome back to the World Championship of Online Poker main event final table, where 3 players remain from the more than 2,000 who started. 6 ways they did a deal. Now 3 remain competing for the bracelet and an extra $200,000. Those players are Crown Up Guy, who's playing just over $14 million. The Nerd Guy, who has the chip lead with $16.5 million, and Neckbreak with $11.8 million. Reasonably even in chips right now, with the blinds at 100,000, 200,000 with a 25k ante. It's James Hartigan, Joe Stapleton, Ike Haxton from Team PokerStars Online back in the booth. Ike, were you watching the action during the course of the last level or so? See anything interesting that you can actually talk about?
Well, I mean, it mostly moved along as you would expect things to. With the tournament now winner take all, people are playing a little less conservatively than they would be if they were concerned about laddering up.
And obviously we saw a couple of big all-ins and a couple of big double-ups towards the end of the last session.
And obviously I can't say anything too specific about any of that because these guys are still playing it out.
Except for that one move. That was horrible, am I right? That was just the
More
worst.
than one.
And what we did see is obviously a couple of eliminations during the course of the last session, including Faraz Jaka, who walks away, even though he finished 5th, with $945,000, the single biggest amount of money agreed in that deal. How quickly things can change.
Yep, and that is why deals happen.
So still interested, by the way, in your questions to Ike Haxton. Tag your tweets, Wcoop. Also, the caption contest still running. We need to judge winners. Or rather, we need to get finalists to compete in the on-air competition.
You will be judged.
Ike has to pick his player, so he's going to pick a caption winner, and obviously Mickey Peason's going to pick his as well.
We've got a submission from Alan. Post-production have their work cut out for them on the set of the new Star Wars film.
That one I like.
Everyone got a laugh.
That's in the lead.
Always revert to Star Wars.
It's a sound mantra.
Hearing the online sounds, by the way, I've been meaning to mention this since we started. Hearing the online sounds, my instinct is to turn off the volume on my computer because when we're, the only time we're broadcasting is over a live tournament. So if I'm hearing these noises, I'm like, oh, I left my sound on.
No, it's not you. It's us.
This one year for Wcoop Radio, I thought we had a soundboard, and I thought it would be a good idea if I made added to the soundboard the alert noise that when it's your turn to act. And so, yeah, it lasted for about the first segment of the show before, like, the PokerStars fat cat was like, "What? Stop doing that!" Because everyone was freaking out. Because I would just hit it at random and not mention it and not say I was doing it. And so we had, like, I think it was Lex or somebody on as a guest, and I kept hitting it. And I was like, "Lex, it's your turn. Why aren't you acting?" He's like, "I don't know. I can't find it."
That's a really mean thing to do to somebody who's playing a lot of tables.
You play a lot of tables. You play a lot of online poker.
I play a lot of online poker. I'm not really like a mass volume multi-tabler sort.
Do you hear that noise in your sleep or at times when you probably shouldn't?
Trying to think. I've certainly had playing online poker dreams.
Yeah.
I've had plenty of playing poker dreams.
But not necessarily that noise.
I can't remember specifically the alert noise.
Because I imagine that would be pretty nightmarish if that alert noise keeps happening and you can't find the table.
Yeah, that sounds terrible.
And you're naked. I mean, obviously, you have to be. At least when
it's
I
a
think
dream,
of Ike, it's
you're
always naked.
Probably naked.
Right, exactly. Do you remember any specific poker dreams you've had? Like, what is the best and or worst poker dream you've ever had?
I always have completely mundane poker dreams where just like something completely ordinary happens where I just like play a hand. And
isn't that the worst though? Because you're just like working in your sleep
it's
only
terrible.
Without getting paid.
I have usually just the most mundane dreams you could possibly imagine. Every once in a while I have like a violent action movie dream.
Or where you're on the run? One of those? Yeah, that's pretty common for me, but...
Yeah. That or, like, going to the convenience store and I realize I'm naked.
I mean, also fairly common. Do you ever dream about being back in school, anything like that?
No, not really.
You just seem really well adjusted.
I didn't find school that stressful. So
Yeah.
my stress dreams aren't going to school. Things I find stressful are like
interacting with other
humans, like paying for my groceries.
I had
So
a dream
my
where I was
stress
at a
dreams are
party.
paying for groceries. Yeah, going to a party.
It was horrible. People kept asking me questions. My phone was dead. I had to speak to humans.
I wish this were a little less accurate.
Darren Murphy gets in touch. Is still up watching this Wcoop main. Yeah, I won't be going to sleep now. Need a Mackie D's for breakfast.
Delish. You better get there before 11, though.
No, 10:30.
Is it 10? It depends on the location, but
virtually every single one in the UK is 10:30, and I'm assuming that Mr. Murphy is tweeting from the United Kingdom.
I woke up the other day craving a breakfast pot from Eat, and it's one of the few sort of guiltless breakfasts that I can have. And it was like 10:30, and I wanted to make sure that I could still get breakfast, so I called them. And often in the UK, James, that when in these places, it's people where English isn't their native language who answer the phone. This was not the case. Someone answered the phone that had an English accent. And first of all, they answered with hello. And I said, "Are you still serving breakfast?" And he said, "What?" And so I repeated myself, "Are you still serving breakfast?" And he says, I don't know what you mean." And then I went, "Can I come in and get breakfast?" And he says, "Hold on a second." He goes, "Well, to be honest," and then I hear him shouting, "Why isn't breakfast out? Why isn't there any breakfast out?" And then he goes, "What's the problem?" And I think he's talking to the guy. He's yelling out for breakfast, but no, he's talking to me now, and he wants to know what the problem is. And I just said, "If I come in there now, can I get breakfast?"
How have you not realized yet that you've clearly dialed the wrong number?
I don't think I have.
Really?
And then he goes, "Yes, of course. We serve breakfast till 11:30." And I was like, "That's all I wanted to know." And so I hang up the phone and I go, "What an idiot." And I throw the phone down on my bed and I realize that it never actually hung up. And I can still hear him on the other end. And now I'm like, damn it, I definitely can't go in there and get breakfast now because there's going to be so much more stuff besides food in that pot.
And yeah, it's not even like you have much hope of being anonymous when you go in there because you're the American
I was
guy.
like, my only choice is to disguise my voice. I did have one idea where I was going to write a note and say, "I am deaf. Can I please have a breakfast pot? And don't try to speak to me because, as I mentioned, I am deaf." But then I didn't make it there by 11:30, so the whole thing was moot. And that's my breakfast story.
I genuinely thought that what had happened is you just called some random dude who's utterly confused about why you're asking him if breakfast is still available. Because I don't really get how he couldn't just simply answer your question.
I didn't get that either. Also, my question was, if breakfast wasn't out, what were they serving at 10:30 in the morning? Was it just, like savory soups? Did they forget? We've got a flop.
And very soon we will be joined by Jake Cody from Team PokerStars Pro, who is the official host of this final table and was doing some chatting with the players earlier on, especially during the deal negotiations. By the way, if Nerd Guy actually wins the tournament, he'll get less than half of what the official first prize would have paid because of the deal. So he'd actually get, with the additional 200k, 908,000, whereas he would have got 1.8 million had there been no deal.
No deal. How about this? This is not exactly a caption, but I like it.
Well, there is a caption. Dreams, reality. This is Stefan's suggestion for the caption contest, right?
Yeah. I would say it's not strictly a caption, though.
I suppose a caption is specifically text, and this goes above and beyond a caption.
Yeah. So I'm not sure. That might be... We didn't really say that.
I don't know if that disqualifies it or if that...
we want to reward that sort of
exactly.
ingenuity. It's a good question, Ike. I don't know. It's ultimately up to you.
We got an all-in, by the way. Nerd Guy bets the turn and neck break shoves. all in for just shy of 8.2 million in response to a bet of 2.1 million.
And we have nothing in particular to say about this, other than that those are the actions that have occurred.
That is what happened. Let's talk about Neckbreak's name for a second. I can't help but notice that Neckbreak is spelled, as we get a fold, that Neckbreak has spelled his name with an A, basically. You know, the 4 is the A, which technically that would be something that slows down a neck?
Or maybe it is a break that you control with your neck.
Oh, yes, like you just squeeze your neck muscles to
Yeah.
stop. Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
if you are quadriplegic and driving a car, maybe you need to
It would be
use
useful.
a neck brake.
Absolutely, you'd have to use a neck brake along with a finger steer.
Yeah.
And on that bombshell, let us speak to Jake Cody from Team PokerStars Pro, the official Wcoop main event final table host. Good morning, Jake.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Jake, you've been doing an awesome job. It's really been cool.
And I think we also have to say what a noble gesture by Jake Cody to bust out of the tournament in 59th place to ensure that he was free to host this final table.
I mean, that would have been a conflict of interest, and we couldn't have that, so I'm glad that you chose wisely.
Yeah. To be honest, obviously, I'd rather be there playing. I've been locked up for hundreds of thousands, but, you know.
What? You're saying... Wait. Hold on, let me get this straight. You're saying that you would have rather been winning hundreds of thousands of dollars, perhaps $1 million, than hosting the final table?
Yeah.
You're out of your mind. You're crazy.
It's a controversial statement, Jake, and I think it's going to take a while for it to sink in with most people. Obviously, as Joe said, doing an awesome job. Have you been having to manage baby duties through the night, or have you been completely poker-focused?
No. Luckily, Alex, she managed to take all the duties over tonight, and I've just been, playing briefly and then been doing the hosting.
And that hosting included, by my calculations, a 45-minute pause in the tournament for those deal negotiations. Now, granted, some of that time was spent actually calculating the numbers, not once but twice. But obviously the negotiations were reasonably protracted. Are you ever tempted...
It's insane how much money there's just they're playing for. It's just absolutely outrageous that online poker they're playing for 1.8 million first. It's just.
But are you ever
crazy.
tempted to join in the conversation a little bit and throw in your own 2 cents? I mean, obviously, I know you have to hold back, but you must be thinking, "No, you're out of your mind," or "Boy, you're being taken advantage of here."
I mean, obviously, if I did think those things, I couldn't possibly say it. But yeah, I did have an opinion for sure.
Were you tempted to just give up the extra $1,000 yourself, just to move it the F along?
I mean, it does seem like such a small amount, but you know, every penny counts.
I've also noticed. I mentioned that I think Jake's doing a great job hosting this final table. I've noticed that as the prize money goes up, Jake is using more and more exclamation points when he announces how much money they've just won. And I just want to let you know, I noticed that. I noticed the details, Jake, and I really like
more and more excited.
Yeah, and I like the personal touch. I can genuinely. This is going to sound like I'm BSing, but I'm not. I can actually feel Jake's excitement when when he's writing these congratulatory messages. A lot of the time, I wonder, is there someone from PokerStars just messaging on their behalf? And I'm like, no, this is Jake. This is legit, and it seems heartfelt.
I mean, I don't know about heartfelt, but yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Okay, never mind.
I'm a little, I don't know, I'm a little dreamy about it could have been me, but oh well.
Oh, Jake Cody. We all wish it could have been you too. We're big fans of Jake Cody.
Thank you.
But Jake, look, to make the top 100 in an event which has more than 2,000 runners is still an achievement, and obviously it was a 5-figure score, still a great result, right?
Yeah. I mean, it made me have a winning Wcoop, so I mean, I've got to be happy about that. I could have easily dusted off pretty big amount of money. So yeah, I mean, I'm happy. Obviously, you're happy to go deep in the tournament, but at the same time, they're all quite so top heavy, aren't they? So
it's actually nice to talk to a member of Team Pro, by the way, who talks about having a result in the Wcoop rather than giving the standard written response, which is, well, I didn't have much success in the tournaments, but I did really well in the cash games, which has been the standard trotted out answer of everyone so far.
Yeah. I mean, I've just been playing a few tournaments here and there, and been going deep in a couple of things, but yeah, same as Mickey, really. No real final tables or anything. So.
But as you say,
hopefully saving it for a live event.
If you can come out of that 3-week festival with a profit, that's a good thing. And you mentioned live events. Obviously, you've got a few around the corner. 2 UK IPTs back to back. Are you playing both of them?
Yep. I'm flying out to the Isle of Man tomorrow, and then straight to London from there. So that's going to be cool.
And then obviously the EPT off the back of the UK IPT. It's going to be a busy couple of weeks.
Yeah. But I mean, this is what I love. I mean, I'm so lucky I get to do this. It's a job, so I'm excited about it.
Are you traveling solo, or is the family going with you?
Solo. I mean, my girlfriend wanted to come to Barcelona, but she didn't want to come to the Isle of Man.
What?
I know,
you can't
outrageous.
just pick and choose, Alex.
I know, right?
That's the job. Now, we mentioned that, Jake, your job, you love your job as professional poker player, but you have 2 jobs now, am I right?
Yep. I've got to be a professional father, too.
Professional father. I hope you don't mind, Jake, but I've gone ahead and made up a new dad quiz for you.
Okay.
I want to test your mettle as a new dad and just see. Now, okay, so...
I'm feeling pretty confident about this.
You're feeling pretty confident.
Like
okay.
I feel like I'm kind of experienced, but, you might throw me a curveball or something.
True or false, babies are indestructible?
False.
False, that's correct. Okay, we're off to a good start. I started you off with an easy one. Here we go. True or false, babies are born with a full set of teeth?
True.
Is it?
It's true in some cases, yes. It's actually some babies...
They're not through, though, right?
I mean, some babies are born with no teeth, some are born with a couple, and they're often our babies born with a full set of teeth.
Well, look at that.
So, strictly speaking...
The teeth are just not out yet. Okay, here we go. Here are the real questions. What is the name of the soft, downy hair that can sometimes be found on a newborn baby?
Oh, I was trying to see if I had enough time to Google it, but I don't.
Yeah. Don't cheat, Jay Cody. Don't ruin my image of you. You're one of the good ones.
No, I actually have no idea. I mean, I feel like I do know it, and I've heard it.
It's a good trivia question in general. James, do you know this one?
I don't know the answer, no.
Lanugo.
Oh, right.
Lanugo.
I did know that.
I'd argue it's probably more important to know that babies are not indestructible.
Well, he got that one,
yes.
so yeah.
So he's still winning.
That's why we started with that one.
Yeah, we just wanted to make sure he got the important ones.
Not being funny, Jake, but had you got that one wrong, we probably would have called social services.
All right, next question. What is the name of the soft spot on the back of a baby's head?
The soft spot. Oh, it's not for me. Sorry, Jake.
I guess I don't know as much as I thought.
The target is the wrong answer. Yeah.
That one is the fontanella. The fontanella.
That one.
Yeah, I actually did know the Lanugo one, but this one I've never even heard that.
That one I knew, but I've forgotten because it has been 5.5 years. So.
All right, here's another one.
I had no idea.
Jake, how many kneecaps is a baby born with?
This feels like a trick question. I'm gonna go with 2.
2 is incorrect. 0.
No.
0 kneecaps. Babies are born with. They develop them later on. Are you sure? Did you have a baby? Are we? You did, right?
I did. I don't know. I guess I haven't examined the kneecaps. Probably enough.
What I love is the fact that our crack research team are actually verifying all of Joe's questions and searching on Google, are babies born without kneecaps?
And apparently they're saying they do have kneecaps, but they aren't made of bone, so whatever.
Well, Yahoo Answers is very reliable.
Yeah, it's pretty much. You can pretty much find any answer you
I'm
want to
on
have.
Technicalities here so far.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah. There's asterisks against all of your answers right now.
A baby's head accounts for what percentage of its entire body weight?
But is this when it's like the day it's born, right?
Sure.
Let's go 38%.
38%, very specific. Around 25%. 25%. But you know what? You're in like the same ballpark, so I'm going to give you that one. And finally, last question. According to the band Ace of Base, what is all that she wants?
I'm lost.
I'm going to repeat the question. According to the band Ace of Base, what is all that she wants? Another
baby?
Yes!
She's gone tomorrow. She's all that she wants is another baby.
Yeah, so I think that based on this quiz, you're going to be a great dad, Jake. I think you're fine. You've passed the new dad quiz.
Thank you.
What a blessed relief. Jake, thank you very much for joining us, and great work so far. And we look forward to seeing more of your comments in the chat box. I tell you what,
hopefully some more exclamation marks.
Yeah, just write something pithy right now, just so we can see that you're actually still there and still doing the job.
There's kind of a big can going on the live stream, so I feel like I shouldn't comment anything right now.
Yeah, let's hang tight for this.
You could just write, "Oh, this is exciting," with 5 exclamation marks.
I'll put 1 exclamation mark.
There we go.
He did it.
Thank you very much, Jake, and enjoy the rest of this final table.
Thanks.
That is Jake Cody from Team PokerStars Pro, the official final table host for this World Championship of Online Poker main event. And Ike Haxton, for you, sir, it's decision time, because we need you to pick your favourite captions so far. I appreciate that some of them did not come up to the standard you were expecting. I appreciate the shortlist may not be of the quality that you would have hoped several hours ago, but someone has to go through to the final.
I'm going to go with post-production have their work cut out for them on the set of the new Star Wars film.
So that was the suggestion from Alan Mack. So Alan Mack, you are Ike's guy, and you're going to be playing against Mickey's guy in our on-air competition. So when Mickey's back in the booth, we'll get him to pick his favourite, or second favourite, if that was his favourite.
But does Alan have to do anything now? Does he have to get in touch?
Well, yeah, we're gonna reach out. We're gonna reach out to Alan, and
I'm
ask
actually
him to get
going
in touch.
to arrive at your home to deliver your prize, Alan.
Oh, wow, that's
we have the official Wcoop helicopter standing by, which will take Ike Haxton to your front door. No, what you need to do, Alan, instead, is follow at EPT Live on Twitter, and we'll follow you back, and then we can exchange details confidentially via direct message, and we will call you. And Alan, you're going to come on air. You're going to have a compete in the competition. And has Mickey actually already made his selection? Can we reveal who Mickey's picked? Okay, so Mickey has already chosen the one from Matt S. Matt Saunders 30, which was let's show these players how a real chop negotiation is done. So Matt Saunders and Alan Mack are the 2 players going through to the final. So same deal for you, Matt S. Matt Saunders 30. Follow at EPT Live. We'll follow you back, and then we can be in touch. And then we can have a little bit of an on-air gladiatorial contest. And one of these 2 guys is going to be winning a prize package. Here.
What? What's in the prize package? That's not coming out of my... It is.
There are 3 different prizes, but the prize that you win is dependent on how well you perform.
Really? I love it.
We've got a PokerStars deck of cards, which is a potential prize, a $55 tournament ticket, and a $109 tournament ticket. But obviously the questions...
strong prize support for this contest.
But obviously the questions get hard as we go along, so there's no guarantee, obviously, that you will win.
You said get hard.
The top prize. By the way, you should have seen his face when Brian Slick was talking about the tool...
We put it all into the tool
that they use
to
calculate
We
deals.
use this tool. We use this deal tool.
Honestly.
Tool.
So we do need to get details from both Alan Mack and Matt Saunders. So at Mackivar and at Matt Saunders 30, please follow at EPT Live so that we can contact you via direct message, get your details, put you on air, and have some fun. And Corey says, Stapes, thanks. Now I have that Ace of Base song in my head. I once interviewed Ace of Base. They smelt of garlic. Just going to throw that out there.
So I'd just like everyone to know, Joe was just flipping through a notebook which had sketches of dinosaurs in it.
It's 100% true. This is a drawing I did last night while I was supposed to be prepping for the show, Ike, if you want to describe it to people, this one here.
What the hell were you doing last night?
It's called Hipstersaurus Rex.
It has there's an arrow that indicates a fixed gear bicycle, though I don't actually see a bicycle.
It's abstract.
Likewise. Okay, so this is like a plan for a cartoon character, I guess. So it's a dinosaur with a dumb hat, a mustache, an e-cigarette, a bow tie, a low-quality Casio digital watch, an ironic pop culture belt buckle, and a fixed gear bicycle.
Yes, correct. Hipstersaurus Rex. And there's like a
It
general...
also seems to be wearing some sort of
a vest,
jacket or waistcoat.
Yeah, a waistcoat. That's what they call it. There's also, I don't know if you can tell because
there's
it's
a bullet point list over here. Porn cursor 30 miles per hour.
No, that's my stand-up set. That's my like set list for stand-up on Tuesday.
I have a question. Now, obviously, you saw Joe flicking through that notebook, so you know it's his notebook. If you just found that randomly lying somewhere, okay, open on that page, and it looks like kind of an exercise book that you'd use in a school, based on the quality of the drawing of the dinosaur and the handwriting, what age
and
would
the
you
words
say?
of porn and E.T. written here.
How old would you assume the owner of that exercise book to be?
I'd go with about 12, I think.
I'd go with the under on 13 for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, look, here's a... This is a dinosaur chatting up a pretty girl.
Joe,
yes.
Joe, you are a man of many talents, and I mean that with all sincerity. But art,
I can't draw.
Not your strong
Drawing's
point.
not good.
Really, not your strong point.
This drawing actually was. I can't really tell you the story behind that. The reason I was looking at my notebook was because I was reminded. Now we're going to peel back the curtain a little bit here, and that we were told that this year that we should shy away. Ooh, we had a big call on the river, big pot, 10 million chip pot shipped to Crown Up guy,
and he reclaims the chip lead.
We were told to sort of shy away from using the acronym Wcoop, and we really wanted to return the glory to the World Championship of Online Poker. Like, why shorten it? Why Xmas it, right?
People forget that this is the World Championships.
Exactly.
If you don't say World Championships of Online Poker.
And I was trying to write a bit about how it's kind of like your friend Tommy when he goes to college and he comes back and he's like, it's Thomas now. It's not Tommy anymore. It's Tom. You will address me as Thomas. I'm college educated. So Thomas, don't forget we knew you when you were Tommy. So don't be such a big shot. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, and dinosaurs.
So still three-handed in this tournament and still working our way through your tweets and your questions. Tag 'em Wcoop. And another reminder to those two finalists, Alan Mack and Matt Saunders, please follow at EPT Live on Twitter, or we'll have to go to our substitute finalists instead.
Me.
Who we haven't actually picked yet. Good question from Ace High, by the way. Anyone know who won the Protégé, and is Olga single? Not going to address the second question, but as far as the first one is concerned, it was Arseny who cashed for $15,529, 139th place, also won the most amount of money, so it's Arseny who gets the PCA main event package. Congratulations. You are the Protégé.
You are the Moon Master. That, by the way, is a pretty cool promotion because they got entered into 3 events. I would never think they would have sprung for the main event. This is a $5,200 buy-in event. Not bad. A min cash? That's huge.
Yeah, that's no joke.
Plus, of course, a package, the PCA main event, which is worth a fair few quid as well.
18K or so? 16?
Yeah, I mean, talking of big stuff that's going on at the moment, obviously that is now concluded with 3 of the 4 protégés, by the way, actually cashing in the main event. The aforementioned Olga finished in 258th place. Alan Justino finished in 171st place, and then obviously Arseny finishing 139th. The next big thing going on is this, and there's a lot of buzz about it, is the duel between Rafa Nadal and Ronaldo, and kind of in the run-up to it, there's your chance to actually play against Rafa heads up. He's done this once already from Mallorca, and he's going to be doing it again in October, taking on all-comers in kind of heads-up Zoom, preparing for this match against Ronaldo, which is going to be taking place at the beginning of November. All the details are online at PokerStars.com.
Can I make a suggestion, by the way? It's
Yes.
not a duel unless someone slaps someone else in the face with a leather glove. So I assume that's scheduled at some... It's not. It's not scheduled.
It's also not a duel unless you nominate your seconds.
Oh, people that, like, if you get mortally wounded...
Or unable to actually participate, that you, like, have your second take your place.
Rafa, I'm available. I think... Oh, Ronaldo wants me too? Uh-oh.
A bidding war has broken out for the talents of Joe Stapleton.
If anyone needs a dinosaur drawn for them, I'm your guy.
Now, one of the questions that I most commonly get asked on Twitter is, when is your next live stream? So just to clarify for people what's going to be happening in the next few weeks, I think it's fair to say it's a busy couple of weeks coming up. We have got the UK IPT Isle of Man on the way. Ike's going, Mickey's going, many players going across to the Isle of Man for that event. There will be a live stream of the final 2 days of that tournament, the penultimate day on Sunday and the final table on Monday. No live stream from UK IPT London. However, EPT London, Stapes and I will be in action. I think it's the second week of October. And we are going to be following that tournament through from day 2 through to the final table. So that's Tuesday the 14th of October all the way through to Saturday the 18th of October with a cards-up final table. So no super high roller in London, just the main event. That's from the Tuesday through to the Saturday. So plenty of stuff to coming up on PokerStars.tv. Plus, of course, all the regular shows. There'll be the highlights program of this final table that you're watching now. The regular Sunday Million highlight show continues. Plus, of course, the TV highlight shows from the PCA and the EPT Grand Final as they air on Channel 4 in the UK and on Sportsnet in Canada.
Did you say no super high roller in London?
There is no super high roller in London. It was moved to Prague.
Oh, well, I guess for my backers, I'll just send you all refunds.
No, because it's moved to Prague, so you can.
Yeah, but I'm.
But now it's in euro, and you need
it's
to
just
recalculate.
I need
the
to redo
rates
it, so I'm just going to
things.
send everyone their money back. I was going to give it a shot. Ike, I'll give you your obviously. Here, just take it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was really looking forward to playing that super high roller too. Oh well.
Got a big pot here. Nerd guy betting almost 1.5 million into 3 on double paired board on the river here. Crown up guy well into his 9 bank.
Eventual fold.
Well, good news, everyone. We have our first competition finalist on the line. Not your guy, Ike. He's coming up later, but we've got Mickey's guy, Matt Saunders, joining us right now. Hello, Matt.
Hi.
Your caption selected by Mickey Peterson from Team PokerStars Online, which means you get to play for a prize. Yeah.
Matt, before we play for the prize,
Sounds good.
can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Okay, so far he's answering correctly. Matt, just what was your inspiration behind that funny caption? Like, how did you come up with that? If you could just sort of take us through the creative process a little bit and just sort of how you came to make that caption.
Well, there wasn't really much inspiration, to be honest. I was just watching the game and then saw the picture and it came to me.
Watching the game and saw the picture. Listen to that, guys. Listen to that, because that's creative genius. I'm going to repeat it.
Yeah.
I was watching the game, and I looked at the picture.
Just
Think
natural
about
skill.
that. Yep, exactly.
Creativity is all about the process.
It is. Then Ike understands this. He comes from a creative family. That sort of thing is regarded very highly. Where Ike comes from, so we can recognize the true genius. Thank you for sharing that with us. I myself wouldn't want to personally part with that information, but just once again, if I could, he was watching the game, and he looked at the picture.
Yep.
So here's the deal.
It's pretty complicated. But,
it's. Do you know what? It's blown my mind. So here's how it works, Matt. I've got 3 questions, and they're all multiple choice questions. The first question we consider to be super easy, and that will win you a pack of PokerStars branded cards. In fact, we're so generous, it's a pack of 2. 2-for-1 special. The second question, also multiple choice.
It is missing the 7 of spades, though. I just warn you now. It's kind of useless.
Joe, put it back. The second question, a little bit trickier, will see you upgrade your prize.
Does he still get the pack of cards, though?
These are accumulators
Okay,
and accumulators.
okay,
So
okay.
in addition to the 2 decks of cards, which may or may not be missing, the 7 of spades, you'll get a tournament ticket for the $55 bigger. Woo! However, if you're able to answer the third question, which is quite hard, even though it's multiple choice, so you do have 2-to-1 odds, a tournament ticket for the 109, the bigger. So, a total prize package worth, well, those playing cards are money can't buy prizes, so it's a priceless prize package we're offering you here. So here is your first question, Matt. And the first question I would like to remind you is very easy. In fact, you may not need the multiple choice. Question 1.
We've got an all-in and a call. Big race happening here.
Oh, Ace-King against Jacks. And Ace-King wins it. And that sees Neckbreak eliminated in third. And we go heads up. Crown Up Guy with 28 million against Nerd Guy's 15 million.
But back to the real competition.
Okay. Question 1. Wcoop, WCOOP, is an acronym for, is it A, the World Championship of Online Paintball, the World Championship of Online Pokemon, or the World Championship of Online Poker?
It's a tough one, but I'll go with World Championship of Online Poker.
C is the correct
that was
answer.
right.
That is
Oh.
the correct answer. So you're guaranteed the playing cards. Whatever happens, you can't lose the playing cards, okay?
Okay. Yep.
Question 2. Now, remember, it gets a little bit harder now, but remember, it's multiple choice, so even if you don't know the answer, remember the shot. Which of the following members of Team PokerStars has won multiple Wcoop bracelets? Is it A, Rafa Nadal, B, Elke, or C, Liv Boeree?
What was the third one?
The third one, Liv Boeree. Rafa Nadal, Elke, or Liv Boeree. One of those members of Team PokerStars has won multiple Wcoop bracelets. I need your answer, please, Matt.
Is it Elke?
It is Elke. Yes. You have now won that $55 tournament ticket. But can you now win the 109 ticket on
His
top?
excitement is overwhelming. Let's just give him a second to calm down before we read him the third question.
Okay, just going to big up the tension now because this is big cash money.
Yeah.
Albeit in $T.
Yep.
What is the approximate all-time total prize pool for the World Championship of Online Poker? So this is the all-time, over the years, total prize money for the World Championship of Online Poker. Is it A, 350 million US dollars, B, 395 million US dollars, or C, 440 million US dollars?
How many years has it been running?
Are we allowed to tell him?
No clues.
Oh, this guy. Harsh mistress, James Hardigan.
It's a $109 ticket. Come on,
True.
make him work for it.
Okay.
12 years.
I'll go with 12 years. I'll go with 440 million then.
Your answer is $440 million. And that is the correct answer. Well done,
Woo!
Matt.
Yeah, buddy.
You shipped the entire prize package, sir. PokerStars branded cards, a $55 ticket, and a $109 ticket. Celebrate good times. Come on.
I'm taking the 7 of diamonds, too, because I need it for an art project. But the rest of the other pack is yours.
To compensate you, the King of Spades will be modified to look like a dinosaur.
So, Matt, stay on the line. We'll get your details. We'll ship you your prizes. Thank you for playing, and well done, sir.
No problem.
And meanwhile, while that was all going on, we did see Neckbreak eliminated in third place. $651,430.61 after the six-way deal. And now we go heads up. And it's Crown Up Guy with the big chip advantage over the Nerd Guy. It's the two guys, and I believe I'm right in saying that these were the two guys who satellited into this tournament. Of the 9 final tablists, these were the 2 satellite winners.
Correct. Some of the people out there are like, oh, excuse me, but Crown Up Guy bought into the tournament, and then he satellite. Yes, he bought in, and then he won a seat, and he re-registered or whatever you're supposed to do.
Now, meanwhile, we also have Alan Mack, remember, who was the guy that Ike picked in the caption competition. Well, Alan Mack obviously doesn't want to win prizes because he's not following at EPT Live on Twitter.
Man, Alan Mack.
Quite frankly,
You are blowing it.
If you are a poker fan, and I'm assuming if you're watching this or seeing our Twitter timeline, you probably are a poker fan, you should be following at EPT Live anyway. You shouldn't need a special invitation. But the invitation is out there for you, Alan, and only by following at EPT Live can we get your details, get you on the phone, and give you the chance to win those prizes as well. The PokerStars branded cards, the $55 tournament ticket, and the $109 tournament ticket. So, Alan, pull your finger out, buddy.
To repeat, I'm not actually coming to your home. I don't know where you live, Alan. You're going to have to get in touch with us.
It was just a bit, Alan.
And also,
get over it.
Although we do genuinely have a helicopter on the roof. That bit is true. The PokerStars chopper is standing by to take Ike to the Isle of Man as
It
soon as
runs
this is
on
finished.
4 AAA batteries.
So we wait for Alan to get in touch. Meanwhile, they play on in this tournament.
I say forget Alan. Who's up next?
Well, give him a chance. Give him
Alan
a chance.
can take a hike.
Tell you what, if Alan hasn't got in touch by the next... I mean, not being funny, if the tournament ends, then Alan's kind of out of luck anyway, but that's why there's every incentive for him to act quickly. So the nerd guy gets a bit back. 30 million plays 12 million.
I think I can maybe answer this question. It's not necessarily strategy, but just sort of a question about what's happening here. Right now, you're in the nerd guy's position. I'm not going to say how would you approach this, but like, how worried are you that you're going to lose, even though you have a you're down 3-1 in chips? Like, is there still plenty of play here? Is there?
Yeah, I mean, give or take, however much skill advantage you can exercise in a relatively short-stacked heads-up match, your chance of winning the tournament is roughly your percentage of the chips in play. So, with a quarter of the chips, he has a very reasonable chance of winning.
And he's playing a bigger pot now. This is raised on the flop.
Raised in 3-bet, it looks like.
Just a call. It's getting tense out there.
Well, this is big stuff now. I mean, these guys obviously playing for the title, the bracelet, and $200,000 in additional prize money. And a reminder of what these two locked up, courtesy of that 6-way deal. And Crown Up guy, remember, had the big chip advantage when they did the deal. So he's locked up 1.1 million. So should he win, he's going to walk away with 1.3 million total. And the nerd guy, he guaranteed himself $708,000, so he'll walk away with $908,000 should he triumph and come back from this chip deficit situation at the moment. Well, he won that one, out kicking his opponent. I'm afraid, Ike, that we're going to have to make you pick another finalist in the caption competition, because unfortunately it seems that guy can't be bothered to follow at EPT Live on Twitter. I don't even want his name mentioned ever again. He doesn't exist, as far as I'm concerned.
Like this time, try to pick someone who isn't a complete jerk.
All right, I'll keep that in mind.
Ike studying the form. It's not easy, is it? Because there's obviously so many great entries. It's impossible to pick a winner.
I'd just have them all win if I could. Or none of them. One or
the other. We're cruising toward none at the moment.
Now, there's a few requests, by the way, Stapes, on Twitter for you to tweet a picture of the dinosaur.
All right.
That seems like it can be done.
I guess. It's not in my contract, but I'll do it.
The child's drawing will very soon be appearing.
We've got another pretty significant pot happening on the table, by the way, including one that could end this tournament.
Crown Up guy shoves the river. Putting the nerd guy all in should he call. He folds. 32 million plays, 10 million.
All right,
150, 300,000.
Let's go with big boredom in little live stream.
Big boredom in little live stream.
With reference to my T-shirt.
Yeah.
Absolutely, the Big Trouble in Little China T-shirt. Okay, who is that? Who's that from? Because we got to shout out to these people to actually
That's right.
to actually get in touch. So this is not got any name attached to it, which makes it very helpful to.
Well, get in touch, nobody.
Yep. That there is no. Oh wait. It was. I remember seeing that one earlier. I think it was Eric. Somebody. I think I can pull it up on my.
This stuff.
I'll get it. Hold on.
It's
Eric Schultz.
Yes, and the reason why he knew Eric got back in touch is Ike. You favorited my caption. You gave him a favorite, so that's how he knew.
I saw it while I was on break and Mickey was in the booth. I did like that one.
Okay, Eric. Well done. By being second best, you've put yourself into a position to win some prizes. You're clearly still listening because you're tweeting.
Wowee, that is
and
it.
That'll
is
do
over.
it. Quads against Full House. Tournament's over.
Set over set.
And Eric, obviously no time to play for you, but we will give you the pack of cards, the 2 packs of cards, and the $55 tournament ticket. So well done, Eric. You get a consolation prize. And that is it. And the conclusion of the World Championship of Online Poker main event sees the guy who got the most money in the deal walk away with an additional $200,000, the title and the bracelet. Congratulations to Crown Up guy Fedor Holtz from Austria, who walks away with a total of $1.3 million. The nerd guy, the runner-up, $708,251. Congratulations messages in the chat box from Jake Cody. And thanks from myself and Joe Stapleton to both Ike Haxton and to Mickey Pearson from Team Online.
Thank you
for joining us. A reminder that both Mickey and Ike are on their way to the Isle of Man. You can join us from the UK IPT for the last 2 days of that tournament this coming Sunday and Monday right here on PokerStars.tv, and then Joe and I will reunite for EPT London in mid-October. Joe, always a pleasure.
The pleasure's all mine.
But thank you for watching this final table webcast from the World Championship of Online Poker, and congratulations once again to Grown Up Guy for winning the title bracelet and $1.3 million.